Welcome, everybody, to the giant Bombcast. It's Tuesday. I hope you're having a fantastic breakfast. Please remember to chew. This is episode 742. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa. The co-captain of this Bombcast ship is next to my virtual left, Jeff Grubb. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I say never chew, just open the gullet and throat goat it.
Just throat goat it.
Right. Crocodile method.
Right.
Mr. Bacalar, you are also here. You have a look of disgust when the topic of throat goats is being brought up. What's up with that?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, unhinge the jaw, Bacalar. Come on.
I think chewing is. I approve. I'm a pro chewing guy. I've always been that way.
Wow.
You check my record, my history. Always pro chew. So
that causes cancer. You know that, right? Like mouth
chewing?
cancer. Yeah.
Well, I have to do my own research on
it
that.
It depends with that.
The jaw.
The most esteemed doctor here. He's not actually a doctor. Don't go to Jason for any doctor needs. But Jason A. Stryker. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I know lots about like maladies and stuff because I have a ton of them. But oh shit, my wife's home. Sorry.
Cancel the podcast. Everybody run.
Are you doing something you don't want her to see? What's happening?
The garage door just fucking shakes my room because it's right below my room.
We did get that. That was very good.
Yeah. Have you been podcasting?
Yep. I found a blue hair on my microphone before, which means that she's been in here.
She's been podcasting.
Yeah, she's been in here. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway.
And last but certainly not least, the drippiest member of the team, Timur Hussein.
I am big on mastication. I am masticating all the time.
Masticator.
You know, I am pro masticator. Like if you're at work, masticate. If you're at church, masticate. If you're on the road, masticate. Masticate everywhere. Make sure people know that you're masticating. Tell them I'm masticating right now. Do you want to get involved?
Yeah,
you're a master masticator.
It's also nice to just whisper it as you're doing it. I know chewing gum is not like in vogue when it comes to recording a podcast, but maybe we'll just do an all masticating stream.
Oh yeah,
hot chewing action.
ASMR,
I am surprised they allowed those two words to be so close.
Which came first?
I feel like
who is they? You
know, they.
I'm trying to like reverse engineer the etymology of that. That's probably the wrong way to say etymology, but
etymology. Etymology.
Thank you. Okay, so what is the similarity between the two acts there? It is
both can get wet.
Yeah.
Both can be wet activities.
Podcast title already. Both can get wet.
Teeth exclusive to one, perhaps.
Well,
I said perhaps.
Now you're being ageist against folks that may not have teeth.
Right. Sure. Gum it up.
It kind of is it's in the definition. Mid 17th century, from the Latin word masticat, chewed, from the verb masticare, from the Greek masticon, as in gnash the teeth.
Yeah, there's a tree called like the mastic tree or something, and they like chewed that stuff too. I wonder that must be related as well.
Delicious.
Okay.
All right. Past that tree. I want to chew
like a good chewy tree.
Yeah. My dad
chew the bark, and I think they'd get high and go fight somebody. That's not. Listen, I'm a history scholar.
Yo, do y'all know how cinnamon is made? Cinnamon is just like tree bark. That's wild.
Yeah. It's the best.
Do a little shaving on the little twirly thing. Yeah.
I love cinnamon. I love cinnamon.
Cinnamon's great. Cinnamon.
I've got cinnamon in my tea right now.
Damn. Lovely. Speaking about your wife, Jason, one time your wife brought cinnamon cookies to the office. I was having the time of my life.
My wife?
They were so good.
They were so good. I love a good snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodle. I think
number one.
Really, number one? I was going to say 3.
Yeah.
Okay, well, give me your list.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you got to go chocolate chip because that is like
you're right.
That's the default. That's the Ryu of cookies.
Yeah. Basic Jan with his chocolate chip cookies.
I mean, it's good. Well,
And
I
then-
just want to know. I want to see how exotic you're going to go here.
Wait, is chocolate chip like the vanilla cookie, like the baseline? I always thought it was oatmeal raisin.
No.
Oh no, I don't know where you've been shopping.
Is oatmeal raisins not like basic bitch cookie?
I
It's
think
like
sugar
young,
but it's
cookie.
not like the
Sugar cookie
default.
is more
For-
basic
for me it
bitch
is.
than that.
Yeah. I love a good oatmeal raisin.
I love oatmeal
I'm
raisin
not
too.
afraid to fucking
Yeah.
admit that.
My
Come
understanding
get me.
was always oatmeal raisin is like baseline, and then chocolate chip is
It's-
above that.
No,
It's a
like
selectable
sugar cookie.
character on the start screen. Like I feel like it's chocolate chip, maybe sugar cookie, oatmeal raisin. I don't even know if Snickerdoodle's on that select screen.
What?
I don't know if it's on there.
These days it is.
You think
do
so?
you guys have been
Or
to a
it's
Crumble
DLC at
cookie?
least.
Crumble's got like they got a lot of locations now. They almost always just have a Snickerdoodle in their rotation these
Yeah.
days. So
Interesting.
Snickerdoodle makes it.
Peanut butter
fucking-
cookie with like the
Yeah,
last
tier.
marks.
Oh yeah.
I was
Yep.
gonna say that's low tier, and I like
Snickerdoodle's
peanut butter.
can of cookies says "Hey you peaked
I was-
blue." So
saying
I've been really like taking a liking to salted caramel lately.
Sure.
Salted caramel cookies are underrated, I think.
Okay.
Salted caramel.
I can vibe with
Let's
that.
go.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh,
What about oatmeal chocolate? The elusive oatmeal
no,
chocolate?
You can't do
Never
it.
had one.
You can't
Oatmeal
Never
do
had
it.
walnut chocolate?
I've never
Come
seen
on.
that mix. I've
Yep,
never
well,
seen that mix.
same.
You haven't lived, you know.
That's wild. I think I've mentioned this before, but there's that donut shop that I mentioned last time with the very big donut that I want to be recorded eating. I think it does like cookies as well. So I'm considering heading over there.
What about a sugar cookie but with M&Ms?
Yeah, of course. Come on. What do you
That
yes.
that makes
That's
it
some
to the top
basic
10?
shit too.
That's a basic
Top
shit.
10?
That's like my kids get that in like their lunch almost every day,
Yeah.
like that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of sugar cookies.
No,
I
no
thi-
one
I think
is.
they're
That-
I
yeah.
think they're kind of
Oh,
like
no. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't
No
realize that.
people, no humans.
Jeff
I-
Jeff Bacala is like I have assembled the wrong team.
I really have. This is a bunch of cookie
Sure.
criminals
Sugar
among
cookies
me.
are fine, but they're just
about
I will
macadamia
choose.
Macadamia nut's good
yeah.
when you're at Subway and you're like feeling a little spicy. And you're like, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
a risk instead of getting the chocolate chip. They got the
You're like,
Macadamia
what's the
nuts.
risk?
riskiest cookie you sell here?
The riskiest thing at Subway is Subway.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're
listen, I
there.
worked there. I know. I was a sandwich artist for many years. I know.
Sandwich artist.
Sandwich artiste.
You talked about how many jobs you've had. I've had so many jobs, so I cannot count either. So
I cannot wait to peel back the layers.
yes, we'll get into it over time. I'm sure.
Lovely. You know what else I want to get into?
Mm.
Games.
Whoa.
The biggest thing to happen recently in the whirlwind of a week, it's been a week, y'all, since last time we did this. I don't know if y'all remember last.
It's wild.
Big
Pam
week.
and I and Lucy actually went down to the Los Angeles area for Key 3, also known to a select some as Summer Game Fest. Widely known, it's more the cool kids call it Key 3.
Yeah.
Pam and I and Lucy and some folks from GameSpot went down for Us, the brand. If you haven't checked out some of those vlogs, I suggest you should. Tam and Lucy did a poop ton of interviews. Let me tell you, while I was down there, I was thinking like, man, wow, we're just going all over the place. This is so hard. And then I look over at Tam and Lucy and they actually have to do stuff. I'm like, wow, never mind. I just have it fucking easy. I just hang out with these two and point a camera at them.
It's fun. Like I think everyone's having everyone's busy in different ways, and I think like it was. I mean, like how was it for you, Jan? I can't remember if you had it. Like obviously, it's not the same setup as last year, but like this must be different in terms of the usual Giant Bomb approach, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Oh, wholeheartedly. I mean, other than like the talk over stuff, because last year we talked over the press conferences, and then we had something similar to the Summer Game Mess Theater that Jason Grubb and Dan and Jess did, where they looked over the trailers. But here it was actually weird being in person again and actually seeing a physical space. The physical space also is a fraction of what folks would be used to seeing at an E3. I think in the official day one vlog, we give like a tour of the area, and it's pretty small. This is to put in perspective for the folks here. It is about maybe the same size as the GameSpot War Room, I want to say, from E3s of past.
So
Just
it's like a
above that.
very large conference room sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it probably had the worst layout to get around.
Oh yeah. If you were a level designer in that room, you were tearing your hair out.
Yeah.
Because it was like very, very odd. Like you would be walking along a path that is very clearly defined a path, and then suddenly be in a dead end and be like, why am I here? How did I get here?
Or like a couch is in the way or some shit.
Yeah, a couch is in the way, or like you suddenly turn and there's someone in the middle of a demo there, and they're like, no, you can't come through here. Like, how do I?
It's watching those the vlogs. It seemed like you were the half of it was like, well, how do you think we get there? How do you think we actually do that?
Oh, 100%.
It was like, and it's like right there. It's like you could almost touch it, but you had to go around. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and then if you're pointing your camera at the wrong booth, then you get turned away immediately.
Listen, Sonic is very shy.
Sonic is very shy. I watched a lot of that game. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say anything about it. I didn't sign anything, but I did look at a lot of people playing it. But they had a couple booths set up. There were 2 Day of the Devs booths for indie games set up as well. I think those were the highlight, but I think the biggest highlight and the biggest takeaway from the show that I've seen across the board, might be Street Fighter 6.
Oh
yeah, that was the biggest game there in terms of like interest levels and also kind of like footprint. I think like they had a corner of that room, and pretty much everyone was cycling through there. I think they had 6 setups,
6 kiosks.
Yeah, 6 setups like back to back. Yeah, and they had like 3 of them were free play, anyone can line up, and the others were, at least on the first day, the others were appointment only. And then day 2, it was pretty much like just roll up, and if you've got a pass, you can play the game. It was
like both controllers and sticks there.
They had controllers and sticks, and like Maximilian was there for like pretty much morning to night, a few days.
So I kept shift.
Yeah, like I looked over and I was like, damn, he's in there, still there. And like I was coming, so I did our appointment, which was like an hour, and then went away, and then we came back a little later to reshoot some footage, and then I kept coming back and forth like, over the course of the day. Like I'd go to something else and then come back and test something, and like
you were tethered to Street Fighter 6.
I was, because I like took some videos and we put it up, and then a bunch of like pro players were asking questions, like Alex Valle and Big Bird and like a few people from the Capcom fighters and Capcom main accounts retweet Street Fighter account, retweeted it, and it was like, okay, now everyone wants to know if it can do this and what's the conditions of this. So I was like going back and forth on it constantly, trying to get information for people. So I spent most of my time playing that game in between others, and like I feel like I've been talking nonstop about it, but I'm like more confident in Street Fighter 6 than I was at this same stage when Street Fighter 5 was on the circuit. Like I played 5, and I could, when you want to like something, there's that voice in your head that's like, you know how this feels. Like you know the truth here. You know beneath the surface what's going on.
I've been there. I've been there.
Book of Boba Fett. Go on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you wish that it was better, and you kind of like second guess it, and you talk yourself into believing it'll get there eventually. And Street Fighter 5 definitely got there,
but it took years. It took years.
It took years. But whereas 6, the voice in my head is like, this is good. This is good. Fundamentally, this is a good start. And like they are going dark now, and they're going to work on it. And I feel like as a foundation, rock solid.
Good.
That's super good to hear. And I've seen reports where the development team is like super confident, and they're happy, and everybody's making suggestions, and it's a very open, fun environment for game development, it seems. So that allows for that's just great.
Just talking like briefly about the game, I think the thing that's interesting is like they swung back the other way, where it was like 5 felt like a very like, let's try and bring in as many people as possible kind of approach. And we talked about it in various places, but like what that effectively led to was like a paring down of mechanics and kind of a making it easier but less interesting. And it still worked, but it was that kind of like, there was not a lot to think about. It took a few years, less than, I would say within the first year, people kind of figured that game out, and they had a playstyle, and that has largely, unless you switch characters, a person who picked up Ryu at the beginning of Street Fighter 5 would play that first year Ryu in much the same way up until now.
Sure.
And there was not a lot of room for expression there. But this one feels like they have way more plates to spin, way more things to juggle. It feels like they've grabbed a mechanic from every Street Fighter game and just put it in and been like, now you just figure out how these cogs fit together and what happens when you try and do one thing into another. And maybe one player will use these set of drive abilities while another will favor these. And there's mind game opportunities, there's meta opportunities, there's footsie opportunities, there's so much room for more expression and kind of like, I think that's going to benefit people who are playing and watching. Immediately I was like watching people play and I was like, this is way more interesting. I can't predict what's going to happen because it's not a flowchart anymore. So I think the future looks incredibly bright for Street Fighter 6, especially since it's coming out on multiple platforms as well, and we'll have crossplay.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, the drive system allows for a lot of expressions and diversity, I think, in your play style. I'm very excited for it. You mentioned, it's taking a lot from past Street Fighter games. There's like a focus attack equivalent. There's like an FADC. There's an alpha counter. There's parries and stuff, which are kind of universal for the entire cast. So it really, really boils down to like how you want to play it. It's super fascinating.
The one thing I wasn't able to test or find was whether one frame links were back, and it seems like they might be. I watched some videos of high-level play of just the computers, and it seemed like there was some of that in there.
That was actually one of the most fascinating videos that I watched, is when you pitted two like level 8 CPU opponents against one another. I think High Fight, retweeted that as well and said, this is the video to watch if you really want to learn the game.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of funny because like we played it a bunch and we tried to show off as much as possible, and then we did that, and it was like a way better, like just a showcase of everything in there because they're doing everything perfectly, and we're like, why don't we just do this from the outset? God damn it! But yeah, there's a lot in there to kind of unpack, and the team itself has now got into a position where they've done multiple games where they quite drastically mix up the mechanics part ways in. We had arcade and that kind of stuff, introducing Arcade Edition, and even 5 with new V reversals, etc.
Sure.
So the game that we get now, the one that's going to be in like 5 years time, is going to be quite different as well. So I'm excited to see how this rolls out.
I gotta say, as someone that is trash at fighting games, I'll call myself out here. It looks really dang pretty, like the combination of the life bars and all the other meters, and then just like when a super hits, just good.
Shit's got style, man.
Just a big old paint fight.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some people say it looks slow, but it feels like there's like a solid heft or weight to it. I say this every time a big fighting game comes out, that like, this is going to be the one I'm going to try out. I legitimately think this might be the one that I'm going to try out.
Yeah, and they've got the modern control scheme as well, which pairs it down to like a 3-button fighter, and then like 1 button for special moves and different directions for that one button. So you can just do a Hadouken by hitting triangle or whatever. So there doesn't seem to be any detriment to that other than losing maybe some of your normals, but you gain the ability to just, rapid fire fireballs if you want to and not worry about execution.
So it was kind of interesting because I tried to talk to them and it was like a language barrier, etc., but also there wasn't a lot of like clarity on that stuff. And what I gleaned was the model controls, or the easy input, as I'm going to call it, because I'm used to Capcom vs SNK too. It's a subset of the overall move list. So for example, Chun-Li doesn't have I believe she doesn't have a bird kick shortcut. And some characters won't. Like, I don't think her Kikoken was like, also her fireball was a shortcut. So you get fewer moves.
Right. Like you would still have to charge her fireball. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still manually input those, but your one of the buttons is mapped to a shortcut and you have a few moves. And I didn't mind it at all because it wasn't like, it seems like they're smart about what moves they're allowing to be in there, so you don't have a situation where you have a Guile who's able to instantly Sonic Boom and is walking towards you and just pins you into a corner and you're done.
Oh, that's never happened in the 3DS version.
3DS
but it feels like what they just did was allow players, newcomers, or like people who aren't super good at split-second execution to have a shortcut, which for pro players might sound like, or people who are seasoned might sound like, oh, that's not fair. Well, it is fair, because if you think about it, let's say I was playing Jan and I jumped in the air and he did a instant dragon punch. That's the timing of that being executed is no different than I was playing Jason and he did a dragon punch the moment I jumped in the air. It's the same. There's no difference to it. Right. All that happened was Jan was able to remove the fact that he needs to do the longer input and do it. The same thing. The strategy and the thinking on my side, it remains the same. It was my fault for jumping at both of those people. There was no difference there. So I don't think there's really a major downside. And I think what it allows, people using that who might not be able to do the high demand execution is to focus on the strategy and the mind game. Yeah. They'll be more confident knowing if you tell a player like that, if I jump, use this move because it's an anti-air. They can be more confident in that strategy and kind of like commit that to kind of memory, knowing that they don't have to also think about doing this really elaborate motion. And if they screw it up, they're going to eat a whole lot of damage. They just do it instantly. And it's like, great, you did it. Now you know now you know the strategy of anti-airing. And then with any luck over time, they'll, be like, oh, I want to do this manually, and then go from there. So yeah, I think it only serves as a good pipeline to kind of learning the game.
That's dope. That sounds great. It also sounds like I wouldn't need to have to perhaps invest too much money into an expensive fight stick because they sure do look pretty all the time. Or making my own hitbox. I was really close to thinking about doing it.
Oh, Jesus. I'm too old for that.
I think I don't have an arcade stick in this country anymore, so I think I'm just going to lift one from the office. There's like loads around there. It's like an arcade stick graveyard over there.
They're just door openers.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah,
they are.
We got two that we could probably lend you one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We can
send me
arrange a
another
situation.
I'll send you the other one.
Okay.
Steal it from us if you want.
Well,
Okay.
Tam is now us also. So
Yeah.
it doesn't even
We got
matter.
those for free, so no big
You'd
deal.
only be stealing from yourself.
There we go. Tam, did you see anything else at Summer Game Fest? Sorry to ask you a question while you're coughing. Anything else
that
at
was
Summer
a
Game
sudden
Fest?
cough. Yeah, so we played, what else did we play? There was a bunch of Day of the Devs games that were really, really cool. And
Unfortunately... Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Unfortunately, we were only allotted like 6 to 8 minute time slots for each game.
Whoa.
And
yeah.
God bless these poor indie devs that have to show a slice of their game to a new person. It was basically speed dating for this thing.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And unfortunately, some of the games, it takes a little bit longer of a wind up to get into rather than others. But I have a couple that I remember that left a more lasting impression on me just because I was able to dig into those faster than others. Sam, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, so the main ones that really stuck with me were Birth.
Yes.
Which is like a very strange, like point and click game where I think it's like
the skulls, like the animals.
Yeah, you're kind of like it's quite macabre in a lot of ways because you're like building a being to be a friend. And it's like really distinct art style and looks really, really cool.
Lucy,
that's out this year.
Lucy, when we were doing that demo, she was having the time of her life, and I'm really bad at those style of games, kind of like Professor Layton adjacent style things. But I saw Lucy go into the zone and just clicking away and just making all the little spider eyeball cup coffees go to work.
Yeah, that's one that is. All these games are like very, very imminent in terms of release as well. Like Shim is another one that I like.
I can really identify with that game in a big way.
Shim? Or
yeah, it's just shadow hopping.
Yeah,
it's basically what I do in Manhattan in the summer. I move from shaded area to shaded area, avoiding the sun at all costs.
Okay.
So that game spoke to me in a very big way.
That is pretty much the game. Like it's a platformer, 3D platformer, and the only way you can kind of move around is by jumping from shadow to shadow, and it's all about just getting through the game.
There's no way this developer is not a pasty person. I'm just why is no one talking about this? I just want to interview it, and it's like Casper, I bet, or something like that. That'd be awesome. It's Powder, right?
There was no dev to
Developed by
talk to.
Powder.
You're just speaking to them, and they're like just covered in
Just like,
sunscreen.
yeah, totally.
That was maybe the one booth that wasn't manned by anyone. So maybe they just skipped out because they couldn't handle the LA sun.
Oh, on account of the vampire. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And then the other one was Time Flies, which I think is just a fantastic game.
How is that? We watched this trailer during the Game Mess Theater, and it showed a little bit, and I'm like, it seems like WarioWare where you're playing as a fly. Is it WarioWare where you play as a fly?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's perhaps got more like the rapid fire charm of WarioWare more than the actual like diversity and quirkiness of mechanics.
Okay.
I didn't actually play it. I was watching. I think Lucy was playing it, or maybe Jan, it was you. I can't remember. But it's like that kind of how much can I accomplish in such limited time. There was that one game I can't remember. It was a
minute.
Yeah, no, there's like something hero, 1 minute hero or something like that for the PSP.
Half hour hero.
30
half
second.
minute hero. Half minute hero.
Right.
It's like that kind of game where it's like, all right.
Rules.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was like you kind of build an understanding of what you need to do over time, and then you just like you're streamlining the speed running process, and like it's just about doing the most you can in the limited amount of time that is available to you.
Yeah,
it's out next year, and I think it's one of those games where I looked at it and I was like, I love the name, I love the style of it, and I love the concept. I'm just not going to pay attention to this for a while. I hope they don't like overexpose it, because it does feel like one of those things that could become an indie sensation. That's like time flies, everyone like market the shit out of it. Everyone's kind of into this, but I hope they like keep it a bit lower key, because I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, each run of the game I think is about like 80 to 70 seconds, and when you are close to completing like an objective, because like similar to Untitled Goose Game, where you have a list of things to do, time will slow down and get close to pausing when you're close to something like, oh, I can maybe do something with this record player or whatever. It plays well with the scale and everything. It's also wonderfully done with only the two colors they're using. The other two games that I really enjoyed was Desta. Y'all know me. I like my tiles. And I feel like tiles were sorely underrepresented at Summer Game Fest, except this game. Desta, it's you control a squad of 2 to 3 people. You're working out generational trauma by throwing balls at each other. I can't wait for this game to come out because every character you interact with in terms of your party are people in real life of your character, and they have like different ties to you. Like one is your best friend since childhood. The other one is your grade school teacher. I think it's just a hilarious concept to tackle my inner demons with my BFF and my middle school teacher, because what better party to do that, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Cam, you talked about Birth. The other one I really liked was A Little to the Left. It is a puzzle game. It kind of ticks the same boxes that Unpacking did, where it's a very satisfying action.
Placing sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to put on the headphones at all these demo kiosks because everyone else was putting on these headphones. But the person running the booth was very adamant. I was like, you know what? I'll listen to you. You are the dev. I am just the lowly person that presses buttons. And it was just some of the most satisfying, like, when you rip a sticker off a good piece of fruit?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of that. And then...
Oh, boy.
She was telling me that some of these puzzles have multiple solutions, and I thought I was super smart that I figured out some of this. Like, one of the puzzles is just rip off all the stickers on all the fruit. And then it suddenly popped up afterwards of like, nah, there's 2 other solutions here. And I'm like, what is it? I need to know.
Like
you got to arrange the fruit in like, the largest to smallest or something. And
perhaps.
It just sounds like someone turned like r/oddly satisfying into a game.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
You know,
it's good like key sounds too. It's like what Jason was saying, like the placement stuff, like how it just locks in. It's like when you're photoshopping something and the snapping actually works and how you want it to work.
It sounds like it sounds like a total vibe that I'm like,
getting tingles.
I'm into it. Yeah,
it's like
good.
It's good tingles. It's good tingles. I guess before we move on from Summer Game Fest, Tam, anything else you wanted to say about it? I think it's just really nice to see folks in person.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think the
jealous.
event was pretty amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like it's weird that it's a novelty right now.
Yeah.
Like, after all this, but I think as a starting point for something new, it's impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what happens next year. We've got E3, the ESA competing with Keighley, and I
Yeah.
guess I
Do you-
may
do you-
bet again.
Do you think they live alongside one another?
I think I think they live alongside one another. If I had to pick one, I would like to see the Playdays things, grow out more.
Sure.
Just because, like, one, it's earned.
Yeah.
Two, the ESA has like dropped the ball too many times now, and I don't feel like the intention of bringing E3 back is to represent games, is to kind of make money and
Well,
like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, to me, I think that's the way they can coexist. I think E3 becomes like the audience facing, like, buy tickets to this thing, where Key 3 becomes like the undercurrent, kind of almost how it used to be a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, I would like to see Key 3 continue to exist as a kind of like, hey, this is where the media and people come.
Mhm.
This is where all the good stuff is, ahead of time. So it's not the chaos of, oh, you've got to interview people on the show floor with 100,000 other people around, kind of like lining up, etc., and it's chaos. I would like to see that split. The focus was really good, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we had a good number of games there. We got to see everything. We got to talk to people. We got to ask questions. I think the coverage opportunities were way more fruitful. It wasn't a lot of it, but we had enough time to do everything. It's not like we were like going to one thing, seeing it, and then sprinting across 3 floors or halls to get to the next thing and writing a paragraph in between, and then that's it. It felt like there's no chance I would have been able to stay at Street Fighter 6 for multiple hours and answer questions in E3 at E3. That's not happening, because on the show floor, my time would be up. Behind the scenes, it would be on to the next appointment. Whereas with this, like, the amount of information that we were able to get out of the Street Fighter stuff, like, so quickly, it was like unheard of. It was massive, and there were multiple people doing it. And then, like, I'm able to remember the games I played at Day of the Devs,
Right.
and like, I made a note to, like, go into Steam and wishlist them, and I did that. And like, I even checked out games that I would not have played, like F1, for example, in the whole cockpit thing, which was for a video. But like, after playing that, I was like, I've not played a F1 game for that amount of time ever, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Like, I'm never gonna play it without that setup, which is impossible to get. But at least I have, like, some frame of reference now. It's on my radar, and I can like think about coverage for it in the future, and also speak to being able to play the new F1 game. It was fun. I had a sense of, like, momentum and inertia while playing. The VR was cool. We did it on a Quest too, and I was excited about it. But yeah, and also, like, being able to quickly, like, meet other people, collaborate with other people.
Yes.
I think it was super, super cool overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it continues to exist. I mean, like, if I had to pick a side, I'd definitely pick Key 3, because, I am 8-bit and Jeff Keighley hasn't doxed anyone yet. But we'll see how it goes from there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Give him time.
Yeah. I talked you don't have to fulfill that prophecy, Keighley.
Not a goal.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mentioned it earlier, but I think the general vibe that I was getting from everyone, whether it was people in media, journalism, or folks giving the demos, and even people running the show, was just like a general positivity. And I don't know if that was tied to being able to
Seeing
a bunch
one
of familiar
another, yeah.
faces, right? Or being able to meet people for the first time. Like, we ran into Sarah from MinMax, we ran into Mike Minotti from GamesBeat, and I can attest, Mike Minotti, what a wonderful human being. What a
He's a
sweet
good
dude
boy.
that guy is.
He's a good boy.
Nice.
And just having that concentration of folks again in the same area versus the past couple years where we've done E3 virtually, where it's like, all right, is there a press conference today? Is there one tomorrow? When are we doing this stream? Versus having that concentration again and that focus. And Tam, I think you hit on this, being able to actually see everything, the curation aspect of being able to see these actual games and actually see and play them. I can tell made a difference on everyone across the board.
Yeah.
That
And also importantly, talk to the developers,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
especially for the indie games. Like, it was really easy to just turn to them and be like, "Hey, how does this work? What is this thing? And also, more importantly, when you talk to them, you really get a sense of their passion for the game. Like
Totally.
they're not like you would in an E3, but also they'd have to summon that because they're tired and they've got to look after a booth that keeps breaking, and there's like hundreds of people coming through constantly, and you can see it wear down on people. But with this event, every time I spoke to a developer, they were like just in a constant state of excitement that people were playing the game and seeing the game, and they had like ideas. They were like, "Hey, this is what we want to do next," and it was really kind of one of those moments where you're like, "This is why games are cool. This is why This is why it's really nice to be able to get FaceTime with people and hear what their vision is for a game. Whether that's something small like Shim or, Bear and Breakfast, or something massive like Street Fighter, where, we bugged those people forever and they were like, I don't know, let's figure it out together, and that kind of stuff. It was good.
Yeah, in E3s of past, I don't think Tam and I would be able to run back in a panic to the booth to try and salvage the footage that I had messed up recording, but they were more than accommodating, and I think they were just more than happy to be able to answer questions where they could. And you know what? Thankfully, also, LA was not as hot as it could have been. It was a smooth.
You guys lucked out.
No way,
80.
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh man.
Oh,
Jason, you remember that last E3 I think we had in person where it was like a heat wave,
sweltering,
and the AC like broke in the
Yes.
hotel our studio was at?
that super sucked.
We had to send
Dude, the AC in our war room was just like evil to us. It was like, oh, I'm gonna make you cold.
Yeah.
And like we were like, please turn this down. And
Yeah.
eventually we did turn it down. But every new day it was like, all right, I'm gonna make everyone freeze. And it was funny because like it was very unnerving because obviously the way the air circulates, it dries your throat out, and it like so every time we were in that room, which was a lot, everyone kind of felt like they were getting sick. It's like your throat is dry, and like everyone had a very short like cough where they're just going.
Perfect
like,
vibe.
Me and Lucy are looking at each other, and like I'm like multiple times over this event, me and Lucy were like 100% getting corona, 100% we're getting it. I was convinced of it, and like every time, but the moment we left that room, like literally stepped outside, everyone's coughs would go away, like the moisture would return to their throats and their mouths, and it was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just that room. But like I think the reason I got sick is because of that, and also like pounding Diet Cokes because and like cold waters and that kind of stuff, and not eating properly. And now I'm out here like I'm still not 100% clear. I've done 2 rapid tests, which are both negative, and I took a PCR test this morning, so who should hopefully get a negative result from that. But that's why I'm feeling like real weird, and I imagine a lot of people are going to be feeling the same for the next couple of days.
Yeah. When I came back, I wasn't feeling too hot, but took a rapid negative, PCR negative as well. So I think I managed to skip it, dodge that bullet, baby. And this is the last thing I'll say about Summer Game Fest. I often don't get the chance to actually interact with the GameSpot homies that much, and I just got to say, because things were smaller across the board, just nice to chat with the folks across the hall. Get to chat up with Jordan, Randy, fucking Richard Lee, man. Love that guy. Richard is fantastic.
Hell yeah.
He is
I love
like,
him.
Richard Lee is a precision strike of production. Like
Totally.
he's like at time, like I would love Grub and Bacalofi to work with him because he works like flawlessly. Everything is accounted for. He's like a machine. He's like a human Excel spreadsheet that walks around, and like all shoots are carried out flawlessly. Everything is like, every time you speak to him, you're just like, he has a way of like logically breaking down things that make you feel good. It's just wild. He's such a cool person to work with.
Sounds like if I need a wire, that's my guy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had asked him like, Richard, do you know if there's like a target nearby for an Ethernet cord?
He just like opens up his trench coat. And he's like,
yes. He pulled out like,
would you
which
like?
one do you need?
Yeah.
He's also pretty damn good at Street Fighter as well.
Oh yeah, Richard Lee is old school like FGC. Like a lot of the old like videos that you find from the early days are like usually shot by him. Like he's embedded in the fighting game community, and like he's especially on this in the Bay Area. Like he's royalty basically in the fighting game community.
Oh boy! All right. Well, that folks is Summer Game Fest. Before we go to break, we still got a couple more games to talk about. Games such as one of the newest quick looks up on the site, Super Mario Strikers. Mr. Grubb, you and Dan played some football with each other.
The football.
So like,
Yeah,
Like-
we got the feet out and we kicked the ball around. It was a good time. I think I mostly like this game. It's very similar to the recent Mario sports titles, light on content, but the game itself, the gameplay, the mechanics are all really solid, really well done, I think. We went from, Dan kind of having just like barely started the game, and then by the end of the quick look, he is kind of keeping up and getting goals, and you guys could watch and kind of see how that ends for yourself in the quick look. But it was you could tell he went over the arc of like, okay, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like there's a lot to this game. But by the end, when he was able to have fun with it, it's like, okay, it clicked into place. And that was a matter of like 30 minutes. And I think that's what most people are going to end up doing. Be like, oh, I am not sure. And then once you get, the few mechanics down that are there of, there's two different types of passes. You can lob it. You can kick it on the ground. There is a dodge move in case someone's coming to slide tackle you, and you could slide tackle, but then you could charge up your slide tackle to do a more powerful one, but that has a risk reward attached to it. So if you miss that slide tackle, your character's going to wipe out and be unavailable for a couple seconds, and that gives the other team a chance to score. And everything sort of has, like, it all pieces together like that, just like Mario Tennis did in its gameplay and its mechanics. The question's going to come down to $60. Are you playing with a group of friends? Do you have couch co-op like possibilities in your life? If so, again, just like those other Mario sports games, it's going to be a great party game. It's going to really nail that stuff for you, no problem. But if you are by yourself, I can't imagine it being worth it. Like that, it's definitely the kind of thing. Like if you're by yourself or you have people in your life who aren't sure if they're going to enjoy it, it would have been like an ideal rental. I guess maybe you can go to a Redbox or something in your life. Yeah. Gamefly, I guess. But otherwise, but if you do have people in your life, you have a Discord and you like want to start one of these leagues in this game, like that's what we're going to do next to my Discord. We're going to like try to get the Battle League part of this game going and see if that's something. But otherwise, if you're by yourself, that's the big question mark of like, I don't know if it really justifies itself to that audience. For the party game audience, for the people playing online, I think it's kind of doing everything it needs to do for me anyhow.
Yeah.
It seems light on single player stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Other than the quick matches that I saw and then just playing against someone else, I think that was it, right?
There's the cup. So there's the cup modes where you can play against the AI in a tournament, and then it goes, you just go through each tournament, and the tournaments are named different things, but they all play basically the same. What's changing is the teams are getting a little bit more difficult that you play against, and they use more of the gear. And we could talk about the gear in a second, but
sure. They
use more of the gear, so now they have slightly different abilities, and they definitely play more aggressive and stuff like that. But it's nothing. There's nothing substantial to it all. It's like, we talk about the pantheon, the sort of tier list of Mario sports games, and at the top in that S tier, it always goes back to Mario Golf for Game Boy Color having a full RPG, and then Mario Golf Advance and Mario Tennis having a full RPG in it for the handhelds. And like it's like, okay, well, that's a robust full thing that is this real RPG with like you're playing as a character and you're building up these skills and you're going through and you're doing all this other stuff. But then like later we get stuff that's like, okay, we're going to kind of do a half-sized version of that for these Switch games, where it's like, okay, yeah, Mario Tennis has a campaign, but it's kind of, there's not much to it. And the Mario Golf game has a campaign.
It was real. It was real bad.
Please.
It was real bad.
It's an extended tutorial, right? Like that's all it is. Like,
I kind of can't believe that. Like, I mean, I know they've done the math, right, and they've run the numbers. I kind of can't believe that, like, in the specific case of games like this, where it's a $60 game and you want to just do the thing of like, I just want to play a game of soccer. I just don't understand how there is not this like other version of this game that they would absolutely sell way more of, right? Like if you were to tell me like, oh, the $40 version that like sort of just waters it down, I don't know. I feel like that needle has not moved in 3 decades.
These games tend to sell pretty well still, and so Nintendo is very much thinking about both sides of the equation of like, okay, how much can we sell, but also how much are we spending to make these games? And they like to like make the one line really big and the other line really small.
And they also have
you know,
that kind of like policy of never devalue your own properties, which is why everyone talks about it, but like it really goes a long way. It's why they can make a game that feels quite thin like this, put it out at full price, and it still sell gangbusters. They have that kind of. They're one of the few companies that has the cachet and the clout around their characters to pull that off. Like, and as long as people keep buying them, they're going to carry on doing that.
It's gonna sell to families, and that audience we always undervalue and we don't really like pay attention. And then we look up and Super Mario Party has sold 16 million copies.
We're like, there's no families.
Yeah. But like they're buying so many video games, especially like during the pandemic. But even before that game was selling super well. So I think that for me though, the way I really think about this game is the way I think about Mario Strikers for the GameCube now. Where it's like, okay, at the time, I sort of ignored that game because, it was light on content, and I'm mostly playing by myself. That was like the period like after high school and people going different ways in their lives. So I didn't have people coming over every day, like during the N64 days. So I'm like, I guess I'm probably not going to pick this up. And now I go back to it today, and like, I don't care that it's light on content. I like that when I load it up on Dolphin or whatever, and we play net play with like a friend somewhere else, that it's a super fun, mechanically like really precise game. And all of that stuff carries forward to this. It's just like once you start doing that arithmetic of the price to the the price to fun ratio, then that's where the conversation happens. But years down the line, people are going to remember this game very fondly for how well it plays.
Cool.
Yeah, I gotta say it doesn't start well in how it positions you to kind of go through the tutorial, and the
tutorial's rough.
Pacing is a bit rough.
And you need it though, because there's very specific stuff happening in the game where you're like, if you just try to hop in, you're like, man, I am just getting my butt kicked here. What am I missing? And it's like, okay, you got to learn to use the dodge, and you have to learn to like be very judicious with your sprint and stuff like that. It's so you need that tutorial too, I think.
Yeah. Once I started firing up a game, I hit the AI to be random, and it was just, of course, the team captain wound up being Waluigi, and then that team stomped me into the ground. It's definitely got its little swagger to it after you score a goal and everything. My biggest problem though is I play Switch games generally always in handheld mode, and everyone's so tiny.
Yeah,
why are they so little? Goddamn.
It's a soccer game. They clearly are like, where is the balance of like, where do we put the camera versus how much like do we want it to feel like you're watching a big sprawling soccer match? I mean, they try to make up for that. And next level, like you mentioned, the swagger. Next level speciality is their animation. I mean, Luigi's Mansion 3 is the last game they made, and that is like one of the best looking games ever because of its incredible animation. Yeah. So they like, okay, so you scored a goal. We're going to bring the camera. Yeah, ever. I mean, I think it's gorgeous. Yeah. You bring the camera in, we're going to look up super close to these characters as they express themselves and really, and again, in ways that we've never seen these characters express themselves before because it's next level. I mean, they also did like Punch Out for the Wii, which is another incredible looking game just because of its animation. So yeah, it's a good team.
I got to also add, there were moments in that game where I thought like, wow, Princess Peach. Whew. Anyway.
Yeah, we do think that sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, I definitely thought that.
Jan does. Okay.
Wait. Just to clarify, so it's absolutely clear. Are you thirsting after Princess Peach?
That's what it sounds like.
Kicked up? Okay.
I thought that's what was implied. I didn't think.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure, like, because there's also the opportunity to be like, oh, she's a great character, main, top tier.
Oh,
but
yeah,
we're definitely talking about
the
the
East. Without saying though, you don't even need to say that. So if we do that, it is very much about the posterior area. That's been a thing with these games as well. Daisy from Super Mario Strikers, like there's always these like old wives' tales about like, oh, maybe Miyamoto got really mad because they made Daisy way too sexual in this game, and she would like show off her little booty shorts or something. So he got mad and said, you can't make characters look this way anymore. But this series has a history of okay. Yeah.
I mean, look at Donkey Kong in his shorts. Ooh,
yes,
thighs on that boy.
I think it's the complete opposite. I think Miyamoto's in there being like, yes,
he's the one coding it himself.
Yeah. He's like, he's just like moving the slider on yeeks all the way to the right.
It happens in anime when like guys get horny, like the glasses like fog over or whatever.
And his glasses fog over and nosebleeds, and he's like launched across the room.
That's why we never see him with glasses. It's because they're always fogging up.
They've always been blown off his face. Yeah.
I got to be careful. I always want to make that joke, but that's like an onion joke or a heart. One of the the other one where Miyamoto says a delayed orgasm is good eventually, but a bad orgasm is bad forever. Like, yeah.
I mean, is he wrong? Is he wrong?
All right,
Man's got a
Grub, what
point.
about the gear stuff? You talked about gear.
It's dumb. I don't like it. It's kind of like, so you have these characters that have all these different abilities, and of course, like Rosalina is really good at shooting, right? So you have gear, and the gear is basically the same sets for each character, but you're picking from like one of like 5 sets, and they have +2 points for one stat and -2 for another stat. So no matter what, you're going to have a give and take. So the thing is, you can either make Rosalina play more like other characters on one side, or you can min-max her and just max out her shooting skills. So now she goes from a good shooter. Yes, exactly. But you could Ben Hansen her so that she goes from being a good shooter to an incredible shooter. And it's okay. So I'm just going to do that. That's the thing that makes the most sense. And so what you end up with is these characters that are kind of like caked over with all this like stuff that just kind of looks lame. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not down.
It is the epitome of that sketch of like, I have too much shit on me.
Yes,
Oh my
yes, it is. Absolutely. I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, like in life, like alive anymore? Like, is that?
It's
I mean, it definitely looks that way when you're like Toad, like covered in like he's got this Cyclops visor on.
they
I'm
mess
like,
with his
okay.
head shape. They're
Yeah.
squeezing that poor boy's head.
Oh,
I think okay. Sir 5000 has here harddrive.net. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember. Shigeru Miyamoto delays orgasm for quality purposes. That's the great headline.
He just wants to
good
take
stuff.
care of you. He just wants to take
There's
care
a lot
of
of
he's a
bangers
good man.
there.
Good man. Yeah.
you. Grab anything else on Super Mario Strikers?
I don't know. I saw some people on the Reddit starting a battle league. So if anybody's like playing in the community, maybe join that up. If you are going to get this game, try to join the battle league. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. It's still in the preseason. My Discord's going to be doing it this Friday. Maybe I'll report back and say if that's like, maybe that's game changing. Maybe that's something huge. But otherwise, kind of go into this knowing what to expect, which continues to be these are party games. And if that sounds good to you, pick it up.
Yeah,
I would
maybe-
like to see a weekly column from Jeff Grubb about hot video game characters called Grub One Out.
I'm in done.
Alright,
goddamn.
I have been playing a mobile game made by noted game developers Netflix called Poinpy. Poinpy? Poinpy. How would you pronounce that?
Pointy.
Poinpy.
Yeah.
Pointy.
Very pointy.
You're a little green individual, and I think you're holding like a little rocket or like a giant bullet, and you have a limited amount of jumps, and you're just collecting fruit to feed to a big cat-like monster chasing you. The fruit eventually goes from just collecting like one red fruit or one blue fruit to a combination, and eventually they mix it up by like, oh, now you got to get 5 fruit in one go. But it only counts as you are in the air. So you start with 2 jumps, and you can angle these jumps as you're going up. And if you hit a wall, you'll do like an automatic like ricochet off of it. If you hit an enemy or a pot, you will regain a jump. And it's real cute. I'm real trash at it. It's also just a fun thing to say quietly to myself as I play it. Pointy.
Yeah, this is the Downwell people, right?
Yeah.
Or person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pointy.
It's real cute. I'm very trash at it because I'm only in the second world despite playing it and grinding out to like level 8. I still can't get my gourmet level up. It's also
Gourmet level.
It blows my mind that Netflix made a game because I see my little Netflix avatar in the bottom right corner whenever I launch the game.
Weird. Okay, wait. How do I play this?
Mobile. I'm playing on my iPhone.
No,
Okay.
but I hear where you're coming from, Grub. You're like, do I need
Where
to
do I get-
attach my sub to like my what is this?
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
What's
okay,
it called
so I
again?
Pointy.
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 You're going to have to spell that for me.
Pointy.
Poinpy. I wish Jess was here to say it in her Staten Island voice or her accent.
Very pointy.
Very pointy. Mr. Backlar, you got a couple games you want to gab about, right?
Yeah, so games that I found out, well, one of them I knew about, but a demo's out. They're both demos. The one game I found out about during the first SGF, I think, showcase was a game called Metal Hellsinger. which appears to be invented solely for me. It is a first-person metal shooter where they apparently have like unique music created for the game.
Nice.
Yeah, they brought in singers, so they're not using those band tracks. That's why they listed the vocalists.
Right.
They're
So
just
like
you come in and
Surge from
sing, so we
System.
can put this on Twitch.
Yeah,
we had them in the office. Not in the office.
Slow it
We had the
down?
No. I
Oh.
wish. The developers, are they called the Outsiders? I think they called
The
it, or something
Outsiders,
like that. And like they were demoing the game to Phil at GameSpot, and so they were demoing it, and I was working away, just like letting them do their thing, and Phil's playing along, and the music is coming out of the speakers. So like if you're near them, you can hear it. And one of the developer goes, just like, do you know how we know the music is good? And Phil's like, how? And then she points at me, and I'm like, this typing away, just like didn't even know, like just inadvertently, just absent-minded, like bopping my head along. The music is so good. Like I don't know if that game's going to be amazing or not, but at the very least, that soundtrack is gonna slap.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird because it's just Doom. It's Doom, right? It's like new Doom, and kind of I guess the same soundtrack as Doom kind of has in a way too, because that is a very metal adjacent thing. But I think for me, it's going to take a little bit more playing it to realize the importance of like hitting the beat, because it is not a, from what I can gather, it is not the sort of like changing time signature where metal does that, right? Where like you have, and it's not really based on drums. It's just sort of like this bop, 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 like constant, treadmill of activity that you sort of have to follow with shooting, with jumping. All these things can kind of parlay together to maximize the the sort of bonus you get from playing in sync. So I guess what I'm trying to say is
NSYNC is in this game? What?
Yep, their new metal band. It's weird to really like take advantage of it. I feel like there's not a connection for me so far where the where like the metal and the playing comes together in a meaningful way. So I'll have to play some more of that and see how that goes. And then I played the demo of Midnight Fight Express, which I know Jason did about.
I'm in love with this game.
So have you played it?
No, not as of yet. There's a demo though?
Yeah, there is a demo.
Shit yeah. So, let's go.
So I think we've been talking about it in a way that that feels like a fight system out of like an Arkham game where you're kind of like judging one or two steps in front of what you're about to do. And I think for the most part that it doesn't necessarily play like that because it doesn't have that satisfaction of the combo parlaying that you get in the Arkham sort of melee stuff. But I mean, you're still dealing with like counters and then like a way to like super counter. You can pick up items, and I didn't realize like my man gets a gun a lot, and he just starts blowing people away. Like
he starts blowing people.
He's just it's really goes in a direction. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed what I played so far. I think the music's pretty cool. I definitely dig the vibe. I like the fact that it doesn't feel like you're just bombarded with like the same looking type of enemy over and over again. There is a lot of
cool.
Diversity.
What are you
there.
playing it on, and what
Steam,
control?
PC with an Xbox controller.
Xbox controller.
I played it on Steam Deck with a Steam Deck control.
Okay, how was that, Grub?
It was great. It was fine. It worked really well. Yeah,
cool.
PC gaming is dead. Steam Deck is the future, of course.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's cool. They give you an option to save a GIF of your gameplay at the end of each level, which I thought was really dope.
Chicory did the same thing once you completed a screen.
Yeah, that's very smart, very smart. So yeah, I'm digging that. I definitely think the rules of countering and like using that super counter are a thing you just have to practice with a little bit and get comfortable with. But yeah, I didn't think there was anything too much in the way of negativity with that. Are you sort of on the same page there, Grub?
Yeah, I think you're right. Like I was expecting, like after I would do the counter, that it would just go into like, okay, now you're going to be doing a series of button inputs to maximize your combo. But no, it's like it's much more like, no, you're gonna get in a few punches, and then you're immediately gonna have to worry about the guy behind you and keep going. Like it does have that like snappiness of like snapping from the guy in front of you to the guy behind you, similar to like Arkham and a lot of other games. But mostly it's just like, okay, you are gonna have to assess the situation. And as the guys come to you, you're going to want to try to get a few hits in right away. But you're immediately going to start looking for, okay, where's the next hit coming from? So I can block that with good timing so that I can go on that counter and maximize my chance for surviving this. I played it on the realistic difficulty. Just something about it sounded really cool. And it did feel like a slightly more like violent and a little bit more on edge, where I'm like, okay, a couple hits and I'm going to be down.
Try that.
So it's a thinking man's beat 'em up.
You know what? That's a really good way of putting it, I think, actually.
What's cool is they let you, there's like a focus trigger where you can hold one of the triggers down, and it gives you basically like a layout of like what's interactable. So like what you can pick up, and a couple other sort of like points of interest in that room that you've entered. So you can kind of, have a strategy formulated as you're approaching a bunch of enemies, because there's things that you can just pick up and your character automatically throws them. And then there's stuff that you can kind of like shoot. There's explosives. So you do have an opportunity to sort of formulate as you open up each door. There's also, there seems like there's like leveling up and a bit of a skill tree that I haven't really gotten too much into.
Same.
But yeah, I'm into it.
I've seen gifs of a pillow fight mode. Was that included in the demo?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't see that. No.
Gotta head back but the
I've
demo
been
is out
following
now.
the development on Twitter. So
Yeah, pretty dope. Midnight.
all right, I'm gonna go check it out now.
I have an odd question. How neon-y is this game?
Not that much.
There's like neon, I started on like a lot of like dingy rooftops, and you could see like there's like neon maybe somewhere out there beyond, but you are mostly in the dinge.
Yeah, someone like took
I'm tired of neon.
The neon edit tool was used perhaps in this game.
Yeah. Just give me flatly lit places. That's all I want now. I'm done.
That replaced game's going to come out next year, and it's going to hit the neon quota for 23.
Yeah, and for the rest of the decade. All right, well that's games. Unless anyone else got something else to bring up.
I'll just say I played Melatonin real quick. That's a demo on Steam as well. I didn't see this anywhere, and then I was looking for demos, and it's a Rhythm Tengoku, Rhythm Heaven game. Basically, it's made like that, and it's but it has this pink pastel look to it, and it all has stuff to do with like your dreams. So you're asleep, and once you're asleep, these rhythm games start, and you're sitting in a chair that flies, and it's flapping to the beat, and then like a box of donuts, it will come in front of you, and it's flying, and then it'll go bump, 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 and then right there it'll shoot a donut in your face, and you have to be already hitting the button, and you'll eat the donut, and then and then that'll go away, and then a pizza box will come, and it does it on a slightly different beat. It'll go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and you got to hit it, and it's Rhythm Heaven, and I'm like, oh yeah, other people could have just been making Rhythm Heaven games this entire time, and
turns out
someone is, and this seems like a very good one. So Melatonin, go check out the demo. Like seriously, I want more people to like hear about this because I want it to do very well.
That's cool. I'm gonna check that out. I if I could just shout out a trailer that I thought was like one of the like from the fuck.
Go ahead.
From a purely aesthetic point of view, there is something about that Skate story trailer.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I mean, we were waiting to start that thing that Game Fest Theater the other night, and I was just playing it on repeat to like test stuff, and I'm like, I just think I like this more every time I see it. Every time I see it, I just like it more.
I just want that to like dress me for the next 2 years. I want it to like make all my fashion decisions for a while. Like I realized the sort of like blown out red text style is like definitely a vibe right now, where I don't know, there must be some really affordable After Effects filter out there that everyone's jumping on, but it's got such a cool vibe, such a well constructed trailer.
I mean, it's got the best line in any video game trailer ever. You are a demon of glass and pain, but you must, and yet you must skate.
And that's just like, chef's kiss. So
sorry, kids, your dad is gone. There's just a demon of glass and pain now. I'm sorry.
I don't even know if that game's going to be good, but kudos to the people that constructed that trailer. That is as close to a perfect trailer as you can get. So well done on that front.
I just remembered one game that is worth putting on the Giant Bomb radar.
Put it on the
we
radar.
we went to Skybound Games' kind of like area at the SGF, and they had WrestleQuest, which is obviously right up in our wheelhouse, and it looked really cool. It was really funny, and it didn't look like a very basic, button matching type game. It looks like they've put in a lot of work into making a cool RPG around wrestling as a world. A lot of Randy Savage representation in there. It looks very cool. I imagine, Dan's going to be playing that a bunch. Also, the other game that is worth keeping an eye on is Escape Academy. Very cool. The less said about it, the better, honestly. Two of the people at GameSpot, Jordan and Dave Klein, played it together, and they were just like... their eyes were alight with how much good they had to say about it. So I think that's one to definitely put on your radar, wish list it or whatever, and just keep an eye on it. It's going to be cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Real quick, lightning round around the table before we go to break. Best donut flavor. I'll go first. Glazed. Bacalar.
I'll go with salted caramel.
Grub.
When I lived in Colorado, there was like a Denver specialty that is basically like the Homer donut, like pink frosting and sprinkles and stuff like that. And it was always great.
Jason.
Apple fritter me all day long.
I'll apple fritter you any day.
Yes.
So sweet.
I love a coffee donut.
Oh,
Oh,
like coffee cake?
Coffee
Like
frosting, coffee flavored frosting.
Got it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
exotic.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, give me a cronut these days. The cronut stuff, the croissant donut. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
weird.
Mm.
Fancy.
All right. Well, if you're watching live, stay tuned. After this break, we'll hit the news. And if you're
Before we go
watching
to break,
after we go to break,
before we go to break,
Yes.
I will be departing now.
Yeah, so let's say goodbye. Bye, Tam.
I
Go
wanna
get
say
a
good-
nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone. I don't want
Get
them to
better.
be like, "Wow." I promise you, I'll be doing full shifts in these podcasts in the future.
Mhm.
I'm just a bit feeling under the weather, so
I just wanted to give you a little quiet exit. But all right, everyone.
No, I don't want people to be like, "Wow, look at that Tam guy. He joins the
Yeah.
team and then just starts slacking off." What?
Well,
a loser.
he said grub one out and then he disappeared. I think he's fired already.
Especially for audio only, be like, weird. Tam didn't talk for like 90 minutes after the first segment. Weird.
Yeah, if you're
Exactly.
let's throw some teas in the chats and the comments. So to boost Tam to recovery, folks.
Thank you so much.
Boost
I love you
them.
all.
Yes.
Boost those
Goodbye.
keys.
Throw them teas, baby. Throw some teas on it.
Yeah.
See you in a bit. Jeff Bacalar, I'm in the year 2022. I am now a sports boy. So I've been listening to a lot of basketball programming, a lot of basketball podcasts, and it's been great. You know why it's been great, Jeff Bacalar?
Why is that, my little sports boy?
That's me, little sports boy, Jan Ochoa. It's because of Raycon wireless earbuds. The look, the feel, nothing has ever sounded better. They've got optimized tips, gel tips, Mr. Bacalar.
Gel tips. We're working with gel tips now, baby. Get with the program.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They fit so comfortably in your ears. And Jeff, they will not budge. They're like Gandalf in that one Lord of the Rings movie where he's yelling, hold. I think I've seen that movie. Trust me.
Is that Lord of the Rings? I feel like,
Is that Lord of the Rings or is that another sports thing? I don't know.
You're saying Gandalf has earbuds.
Yeah, I'm sure someone has done the work. He probably did have earbuds. But Raycons, they offer 3 sound profiles to match what you're listening to. Plus noise isolation and awareness mode, so you can listen and be immersed in sound, but also be able to hear your surroundings when you need to, which is handy if you're going jogging or going for a walk around town while listening to us, the giant Bombcast, or whatever sports boy programming you're into. And Mr. Bacalar, they give you 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. That's longer than most of my electronics.
That actually is very good. That's very good.
It's more than my electric glue gun. I'll tell you that. And here's the biggest thing, Mr. Bacalar. Raycons get you the same quality audio as other premium audio brands, but at half of the price. But that doesn't mean they won't last. I've seen people talking about these Raycons, buddy. People are throwing them from 3 stories just as they're getting lost in the rain and snowstorms. And guess what? Guess what, Jeff?
What?
They're still working afterwards. Holy smokes.
Now, you had me at not paying a lot. That is when I start to pay attention to things, and I'm excited about not having to pay a lot.
And you know what I'm also excited about? 5-star reviews. And Raycons, they have over 49,000 5-star reviews.
Damn.
So, listeners of the Giant Bombcast, I want you to check out Raycon's wireless earbuds. My guess is that you're going to leave them another 5-star review, and it'll be 49,001 as well. So go buy Raycon, go to buyraycon.com/bomb today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/bomb to score 15% off. Once again, buyraycon.com/bomb. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jen. Jan Ochoa, I'm here to talk to you about a thing that is very near and dear to me. Do you know what that is?
I have absolutely no clue.
You have no idea whatsoever. It's not a thing I talk about all the time where I'm like, yo, dog, guess what's the game changer in my life?
I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I'm glad that it's clean.
That's right. And when you're putting your bum down, you should be using a Hello Tushy bidet. Ladies and gentlemen, my life changed last year when I got a Hello Tushy bidet. I actually had a very long conversation with my plumber the other day because he saw it in my master bathroom and he said, yo, man, what's the deal? Are these really legit? And I said, Tom, it's a game changer, my friend. And he said, get out of here. I said, I will not get out of here.
This is my house. I called you here.
Exactly. We've totally misunderstood the relationship going on right now. I'm not joking, okay? I know I've gone out of my way to talk about Hello Tushy bidets. After I installed this thing, it really it's good for the reasons that I will tell you. But I found out that like I'm so spoiled by this thing that I will now plan my entire day around making sure that I will be home to do my business with this thing.
Wow.
So
that's, okay. Normally I just get shy in public spaces, but this is nice. Planning your whole day around this. It's an event.
It's, you know, for better or worse, this is the person I've devolved into. Look, you know how it works. You're talking about the freshwater feeling. You're talking about, and honestly, like, here's the deal. It was really easy to install, which is like the one thing I would tell people who are maybe a little intimidated by bidet stuff. You don't need like a plumber degree. One can put one in for you, but you can do it yourself with like a wrench. You're fine. And you know what's really dope? The thing that I'm most excited about is we don't blow through toilet paper in the way we used to. Like, obviously you still got to dry yourself and that's still a part of the process, but you're just not like completely blowing through toilet paper at an excessive rate. And that to me is like the number one thing about this stuff. You can install it in what? I don't know, 7, 8, 9 minutes. Hello Tushy saying that they think your toilet paper use will go down by as much as 80%, which is like, whoa, that's legit. That is legit.
That's a high percentage.
That's a high percentage. Hello Tushy has cleaned over 1 million happy bums, aka butts.
Jeff, you're 1 in a million. You're actually 1 in a million here.
I know. I have a very special butt. Thank you, Hello Tushy, for recognizing that. Make your butt one of those happy butts. Here's what I would love for our listeners to do. If the idea of my butt excites you, and a clean butt at that,
and it excites me for sure.
I can hear it over the air. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Please go to hellotushy.com/bombcast and you're going to get 10% off plus free shipping right now. That is a deal, my friends. This thing's already reasonably priced, and now 10% off more just sweetens the deal. hellotushy.com/bombcast. I explained to you how legitimate I feel about this product. I hope you're listening, and I hope your butt is able to thank you for all the years of neglect.
Smile
That will
with
be
your butt.
reversed. Smile with it.
What sound do deers make?
Deer.
Well,
Got it
yeah.
one.
All right,
Yep.
got it in one.
Asked and answered.
I'm gonna
Yep.
have to pull that from the podcast and just add that to a soundboard because I feel like
Yeah.
we need like a good transition with like the deer just. At,
Oh.
That's
the
exactly
camera.
how they sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Asking like what this deer would sound like.
I guess this deer, yeah, lucha deer. What does lucha
Okay.
deer sound like?
You're saying, bro.
I mean, there are so many deer where I live, but they don't speak a lot. They don't make
Well, have you
noises.
introduced?
They don't
yourself
talk to people
back
from
a
New
lot?
Jersey. Those deer aren't from, so.
Yeah.
They were here first. We're just
Yeah.
they're concerned, but
You know what? I a cheap plug for the voicemail dump truck 707 exit flu is the phone number. You know, I briefly popped on last week, but I gotta say that was quite the show last week.
my God.
And I just
Thank
want to
you.
hear people's best deer calls. Jason already
Call in
nailed
right
it
now.
in one. You know,
Yeah.
one take, a striker, as we call
I
him.
think it exists between a goat and like I don't. It's goat adjacent.
They
right?
bleat, right? They
Yeah.
bleat.
Right. Yes, bleeding. Yes,
Mm.
Bleating. I learned this
Yes.
from Shaun the Sheep. I didn't know that's what bleeding was until I watched Shaun the Sheep.
Nice.
What is
We
Shaun
are
the Sheep?
deer
Is
adjacent.
this a dad thing?
Yeah, Shaun the Sheep's it's just a children's show. It's one of those claymation movies.
Claymation, yeah.
Wallace
Claymation
and
Gromit.
cartoons from
Adjacent.
Wallace and Gromit from the UK. Yes.
Ugh.
Oh man, you know
What?
like I can't really around on that entire style because of Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep.
You don't like that stop motion claymation stuff?
I
What?
hate
Oh, no.
Wallace and Gromit. I hated watching any of that stuff. Anyway,
so
Jeff
charming.
Grubb, let's talk about the news.
Yeah. We got a bunch here. So there is a lot to this news segment because we are doing this. We're starting this whole Grub taking over the news segment right after E3 started. But I figured we just kind of do a recap of what happened, talk about a bunch of the headlines. Let's start here with Summer Game Fest.
That was a thing. Yep.
Yeah.
So while you guys were on the ground, there were a lot of other stuff happening, a lot of showcases and stuff. The thing I want to start with, I figure we'd catch up real quick with what PlayStation did. They said the Last of Us remake is coming. This leaked right beforehand. Actually, the PlayStation Direct store leaked this to everybody.
Oops.
Yeah, and so we were like getting ready for this thing to start, and then all of a sudden a video's out showing us all the details of that. That is something we knew was coming, but now they've confirmed it's coming later this year, September 2nd for PlayStation 5. A PC version is in the works. The first thing everyone always says about this is, who needs this? Who asked for this?
Not me.
Do
Not
any
me.
of you need it, or are any of you asking for it?
No, and I you could have lied to me and said this was already a thing, and I would have been like, yeah, sure, that sounds right. You know.
Yeah.
Right. So they did a remaster, but the remaster, I guess, is like 8 years old now. It's like early in the PS4 days. So even like that version is getting a little bit up there. But of course, this isn't for us, right? This is for Sony because they could sell The Last of Us remake for $70 US human dollars, which is going to be the price for it. So,
God damn.
and it's going to sell.
Yeah, it's gonna sell. My best friend is currently playing through part 2 again, and then I just looked at him and asked him why, and he was just like all he said was like, I just want to feel empty again.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some people I know who just really like these are their games. Like the
Yeah.
Last of Us games are like there's like an NPR host who's like desperate to find. He's like, does anybody know any games that are like The Last of Us? And like he talks about it on Twitter all the time. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, there's just not much else out there that's gonna
Ooh, The Last
scratch
of Us
that itch.
remastered. That's a lot like The Last of Us.
There you go. And there you go. And that, hey, so you ask and Sony answers. So there you
I guess
go.
if you were to play that game and like not watch a single cutscene and just like smoke your way through all the action, like, yeah, that's probably a lot of fun. You know, if you just like don't listen or look at anything else and just sort of like do all the fighting and shooting, sure.
I thought it was interesting when they showed screens of this. They were kind of showing this in tandem with like screenshots from the Last of Us TV show. I don't know why I thought they would make him look like Pedro Pascal. I was kind of hoping they would.
Oh, you
That'd
kind of
been
do the thing
alright.
they did with Spider-Man, where
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
decided like,
Oh,
oh,
sure.
we're gonna do Tom Holland, so we're gonna make him look a little bit more like Tom Holland than whoever they were using, who was kind of
That
like
was
a
so
little bit like
weird.
Andrew Garfield, I guess. That's why
Yeah.
they did that.
Yeah, I like Gears of War did it with Batista. Give me that good Batista skin.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yummy.
at least make it an option right there. You're paying
Well,
$70
right.
for it. They should give you a little extra. That's one of the questions about this. How much is going to be different? They are remaking this in the Last of Us Part 2 engine, but it doesn't sound like they are doing a Resident Evil 2 remake where things are going to be drastically different in any parts of the game. It's going to mostly be that game. They're using a lot of the same capture and performances. They're just sprucing it up with new technology.
Cool.
Then later in the Summer Game Fest, well, this is kicked it off. Street Fighter 6 Guile got revealed. He has eyebrows.
Eyebrows got revealed.
His eyebrows got revealed.
And he's got a nice little
debut of the
goatee.
season. Yes.
Yeah.
He's got hair all over his face, and now also, I mean, he always had it shooting out of his head, but now it's shooting out of his face. I'm surprised it isn't the same thing where it's just like a big, like straight bush just coming straight out. Like, yeah,
Like a mushroom cloud.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a mushroom cloud from the mouth. Yeah. Aliens Dark Descent, which okay, so when this started, we are like, okay, is this Dead Space? Is this what? Who knows what this thing is?
And we saw that xenomorph and we're like, oh, okay.
Yes,
You're
and
doing
it's like
this.
they had the Fox logo and stuff up front, but we still aren't exactly sure what it plays like, except for they showed like 10 seconds of gameplay after a pretty lengthy CGI trailer. It looks like it might play a little bit like Helldivers, which I haven't spent much time with, but people who are fans of Helldivers are like, this looks like a Helldivers game. So people have been asking about Helldivers too. Maybe you could just play Aliens Dark Descent. Sticking with the theme, though, they went into Callisto Protocol gameplay. That game is coming December 2nd to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It looks very good. It looks very gory, and that was like the point of this gameplay reveal.
And
Like,
very Dead Space. Yes.
yes, a very Dead Space. They are not trying to hide it. This is from the guy who was like the key creative behind Dead Space, so he's allowed to rip himself off. And he definitely is, but they made a big deal about like, okay, look at all these like spinny fan things, and if you get close to it, what's going to happen to you? And then, yes, the Josh Duhamel, is that who's playing? I don't know how to say his name. Dumel, yes, Josh Dumel got a little bit too close to the fan, and we got to see him just slowly get chopped up.
They don't usually do that. They don't usually show the protagonist get got in a trailer like that.
I think that's like that era of horror games did that a lot.
Yeah.
So I think
And
There was an old FMV game called Siberia where the
right.
protagonist, whenever you would mess something up, they would have this elaborate death sequence. It was fantastic. So
yeah, I mean, like in the game is one thing, but like showing it off as a trailer
As
is
a
like
trailer,
another
yeah.
joy. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go that angle. All right.
Tomb Raider did a lot of that. The more
Yes.
recent
that's
one.
right.
Oh,
You're
Jesus.
right. Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 like even had like where you get
Game
like chopped
overs,
up by the
yeah.
alligator and stuff. Yeah, and that's kind of what this seemed like. So then they went into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for a lengthy period of time. That was
This was another. Who is this for? But then I know who it's for. But then I just,
right. Yeah, but it's like who is this like lengthy trailer for where like we see gameplay? It's like you get the idea pretty quickly and then it just kept going. But whatever, that game's coming October 28th, obviously for Xbox and PlayStations. It's still cross-gen. The big news though, it's coming to PC on Steam, so it's returning to Steam after many years on Battle.net. I mean, to me, this just seems like the way the industry is waxed and waned with this, where everyone's like, we got to do our own launcher.
Yeah.
Like, we got to stop giving 30% to Steam. In the meantime, since that has happened, Valve has made some concessions. Like, if your game makes a lot of money, the price you pay to Valve drops to like 20% over time. So I think these companies are like, you know what, that audience, and we really just need this free-to-play Warzone game to take off. We are restarting that, so it makes sense to go back to Steam. Other games I just wanted to mention quick that were there. Flashback 2, a sequel to Flashback from like 40 years ago or something like that. A wild one. Witchfire I thought looked very good, but also it's like I need to just play it to know for sure.
Yeah.
Fort Solis got announced, and then Routine making its grand re-debut after being in the Giant Bomb wiki for 10 entire years.
Yo, this is so up my alley with these.
Yes, it looks
cassette
really good.
tapes. I love it. Oh man.
But like, also, what is there to really extract out of that, though?
I don't know.
It had a really good look.
Good vibe. I'm into the vibe for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Space VHS, which is obviously we were getting a lot of that, but yeah, I'll take it. Then everybody, we got our Dwayne break. We got a break with Dwayne, the Rock
Thank
Johnson.
God. Thank
Yeah.
God.
When Jan interrupted, I was so jazzed. I was like,
Yeah, I'm
The
like, oh
Rock
man, there
is
was too many
speaking
video
to us.
games. I wonder what
Yeah.
this man has to say to me, and he had to say a bunch of nonsense. I am working out right now, and I decided to voice message you or whatever, and then
also hawk my energy drink.
Yes, drink Zoa and go see what's his movie? What's he got coming
Black
out
Adam.
there?
Black
Black
Adam.
Adam, right?
Question.
Yeah,
Do you
please.
think like his manager like calls him back and he's like, "Hey, Dwayne,
No.
can you
No.
just do that like one more
No.
time because that was insane?"
No, the manager's probably like, wait, how much are we getting paid for this?
Wasn't
And like,
his
oh, we're
manager-
not. Oh, fuck that. Yeah.
Oh, you're at the gym right now? Yeah, just record
Yeah.
it. It's fine.
I swear his manager is his ex-wife. So maybe.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He then finished up with I think some wise words, things that we're going to be saying for the rest of our life. Enjoy your gaming. I continue thinking about this thing where it's just like, okay, if you're Jeff Keighley and you get that .mp4 in your Outlook,
Seriously,
you just don't show it. You just nuke it.
really. You could do a lot worse than The Rock. Like
Right.
he's personable. I like seeing The Rock. That's fine. He told me to, enjoy
You
my
could
gaming.
Yeah, you're right. It was kind of it was very memey, and maybe that's
Yeah.
fine. But
Oh,
it's like,
totally.
it was just so meandering. I just really didn't understand the point of it. But not everything needs a point. You got a point.
It's better than the Shicht robot that they had at one
fair
point.
enough.
Okay.
But yeah, Razorbot or whatever his name was,
Sure.
Shickbot. Yeah, Shickbot 5000.
I could understand
no
going
Post
either
Malone,
way.
though. No Post Malone.
Yeah, definitely not
Posty.
Posty.
Oh, he loves his Elder Scrolls.
He's like, "You guys doing those Elder Scrolls?" What did he say? Something?
Y'all still doing those Elder Scrolls?
Enjoy your gaming and keep doing your Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Outriders World Slayer DLC got announced. Anybody going to check back in on the DLC for Outriders from Square Enix?
I was thinking about that the other. No, I wasn't. No, I'm sorry.
Jason, you were about to fib.
Yeah, I was believing you. I was like, wow, okay.
Matt Rory might. I think Matt finished it on a stream once. So, we might get the Rory report on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is pretty indicative of kind of where this show is at in terms of this next game, Stormgate, which is it's one of the first games coming from people who have left Blizzard to go work on games that everyone wished Blizzard was making. So this is a free-to-play real-time strategy game from one of the directors of StarCraft 2 called Stormgate. And it's getting a beta soon, the beta is actually coming in 2023. They didn't have any gameplay to show, so what they did was they just threw up a couple of JPEGs and called it a day. And it's just like, okay, so
Christ, The Rock did more. God damn it.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of like games for Jeff Keighley to choose from. So this is kind of what he's resorting to now. Of course, ex-Blizzard is gonna he's gonna take that call, right? But
Totally.
Still, it's just it felt odd in the show.
Just give him a thumb drive, like right before, like, here you go.
Here you go.
This has got the goods on
Plug-
it. Oh, the
plug it in.
goods.
Oh wow,
Oh,
90K, cool.
Ken Burns. Wow.
Let me see. I got a bunch of other games listed here that were part of this show. Let me see if there's anything that really stands out. High Water, Humankind on console, November 8th.
Oh,
American,
right, yeah.
Yeah, American Arcadia looked interesting. That's the one that's that Truman Show.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. I wrote American Arcadia down as like an interest.
Goat Simulator 3, which everyone thought was
What happened
Dead
to
Island
2? Holy shit.
Yeah, listen, you don't need that. You don't just go right to
Spaceballs
3.
joke. Come on.
Yeah. Marvel's Midnight Sun got sort of reintroduced, but mostly with just a CG trailer. October 7th, Game Pass Day 1. It
Okay.
includes Spider-Man on Xbox, so they've been able to work out. Okay, Jan, how are you feeling about this one?
It's Game Pass. Like, let's give it a shot, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Wait, but Jen, like your face is saying something that you're not saying with your mouth, so say it.
So, I love tactics. I love tiles. This is made by Firaxis, correct? Am I imagining
Yeah,
that's
that?
correct.
They know
Yes,
they know
XCOM
tiles.
folk.
Yeah.
They know tiles or adjacent tile
They
things.
do know tiles better than most.
Another thing that I also enjoy is Blade.
Right?
He's also in it.
And
Yeah.
he's also in it.
He's like the kind of like the star, right? Yeah.
didn't like the look of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't like
man.
the horns and the armor and everything. I
Yeah,
didn't,
that's
So it's
kinda
like
weird.
to like catch people up. This is like the vampire side of Marvel, but all the superheroes are participating. You're going to play as your own created character, but everyone is using the same exact sort of look and feel, where it's like this
Yeah.
black and gold with horns and like sort of like glowy parts and technology. I'm kind of with you, Jan. I'm wondering how customizable that stuff's going to be, or if, is this just the stuff we're getting in the trailer?
yeah.
Yeah.
It seems too focused to be anything but. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The pacing of that trailer also felt off. It felt like they had like two
Yes.
false endings, and it was just odd. But if it's on Game Pass,
We'll try it out. We'll at least see. October 7th. It's still coming this year.
Berserker Barrage, one turn at a time.
Cuphead DLC. That showed up there. Neon White, June 16th. That's like in a couple of days. We should probably check out Neon White. And then Press is coming to Game Pass on day one.
Cool.
This got us to the anime ghetto of the show, which is I think
Ghetto.
yeah, a lot of that news I think I just got mixed in from another different show, but whatever. We got to the anime ghetto of the Sony show with the Honkai Star Rail. Yes, Zenless Zone Zero, One Piece Odyssey, and Soul Hackers 2. Is anyone moved by any of these anime games?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Soul Hackers 2 looked neat. One Piece
Honkai.
One Piece Odyssey. I've always been One Piece curious, so
Right. Same.
I was proposing, what if we just watch one episode of One Piece and just have like a 5-minute segment on the Bombcast? Everyone has to do this.
Once per week.
Yeah, once a week. Just one episode a week.
We looked at the time and like that would be 172 years or something like that. Yep. So yeah, 172 years worth of content. Giant Bomb forever, man.
Yeah, I'm eventually going to have a child. They can continue that on.
Yeah.
Sure. Reasonable.
Let's see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge on June 16th. That was great to get a date for that. Capcom Arcade Stadium's second on July 22nd. Metal Hellsinger on September 15th. We talked about some of these games a little bit earlier. Then they showed the Quarry, Saints Row Boss Maker, which is a demo that's available now on Epic Game Store. If you want to like go you do the character creator in Saints Row, you can do that right now.
Nice.
Then Warhammer 40K Dark Tide coming September 13th. That looked like they had the Vermintide engine, and they're like, okay, now let's do that with Warhammer 40K instead of just Warhammer. Makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Here's the one thing. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interject, but there was like a real big boy in that trailer.
Yeah,
demo.
real beefy guy. Yep.
Yeah.
He seemed like 4 times larger than any other alive thing.
I just wanted to highlight the beef.
Offensive lineman. Yes, he's got like the head the size of like an R2D2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Layers of Fear sparing Jess with like, this is not a Bloober team working on Silent Hill. They're working on Layers of Fear, which is coming 2023. She was having a hard time penning this down because a lot of the stuff they were showing looked like it was from the previous games. So it's like, is this called Layers of Fears because Layers of Fear and Layers of Fear 2 got mushed together into this? Is that what we're seeing here? Seems like that might be the case. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just the best, worst name ever.
Yes,
it really is not a passable phrase. It just does not flow off.
Layers of Fears. Yeah, it's easy to
not
trip
how
over.
anyone speaks. Yeah,
and if it is like you're combining both games into one, I suppose that is what you're saying by saying Layers of Fears. But it's just not very helpful if you're trying to figure this stuff out.
All of these fears is how would you say it? I don't know. You can't call your game All of These Fears, but still.
What's the deal with all these fears?
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, October 25th. I'm not sure how I felt about this. Did anyone, when people saw, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know if I even excited about this anymore.
There is a vibe about this game that seems to be pervasive, where everyone is collectively like, I feel like it's like this collective cautious optimism.
Yeah.
That is immediately followed by like, but yeah, Batman's not in it. And there's this thing that people seem to be upset about because of that specific detail, which I get. But I don't know. There is not the momentum behind it in a way that these games have had.
Yeah, I think I'm also
I'm with you.
confused as whether or not this is going to be like a multiplayer joint from like the get-go, start to finish. Am I going to do this campaign with a friend or like someone on the team?
I
Or am
don't
I just
know.
going to just do the solo dolo, right? Also, I
Yeah,
just don't like
it's
the
really
Red
hard to
Hood.
tell.
I don't like the Red Hood.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, shit. I kind of like him.
I just
There's
don't
been a
like,
couple good stories with him,
Yeah.
but I understand
Yeah,
what you're saying.
I just don't like the magic aspect of him.
Yeah. I feel like the trajectory for the momentum for this game is not in the right direction. It's not headed in the right direction. So we'll see.
Jeff Keighley then ended us with The Last of Us multiplayer getting sort of another reintroduction where we knew that they were working on factions, but then on Grubstacks in the last couple of weeks we talked about how they were really thinking about just leaving factions behind, leaving The Last of Us behind, and doing a multiplayer game that sort of exists beyond those things and becomes its own thing that can stand alone. They confirmed that's exactly what they're doing, and we talked a little bit about this on the show, but it's definitely something they are building as a live service first. It's going to be a major live service game for them. And this is a Naughty Dog building out all of the technology they need to enable that. So they already knew how to make a really great single player narrative game. Obviously, they've had a lot of success making multiplayer games.
Yeah,
now
actually.
they're going to build this pillar of like enabling them to run this multiplayer game for a long time, be able to add content very easily. That's been their focus for the last couple of years. It sounds like it's going to ramp up to them being able to really show this game off next year. And then, Last of Us remake was the thing that leaked before the show, and that's how he closed it out. So overall, Summer Game Fest, it kind of is just the victim of this year, not having a ton to show. But he put together what he could, and this was I was fine with it.
Sure. Yeah.
Then we had the Xbox Bethesda showcase. Real quick, I put a note here before the show. Microsoft sent out this video where they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have Microsoft employees interview like higher ups at Microsoft." So here's a lady talking to Phil Spencer for a while, and then here's some people talking to the people who run Xbox Live or Xbox Cloud and all that stuff. There's a few key takeaways there. We'll probably bring up some of this stuff when we start doing our morning show here pretty soon. But the one thing I wanted to bring up is that Xbox plans 5 games in the next fiscal year, which ends June 30th. And I think this is these are the big Xbox first party games. So not like they're third parties that they're working with, that they're publishing even. So it just sounds like these are Xbox games. So I figure we can maybe figure this out as we go along. The big games off the top here that I think we should probably talk about are Redfall, Forza Motorsport, and Starfield. And then we can get stuff like Silksong. But Redfall, we saw this last year at E3. Where Xbox is like, okay, here's a trailer kind of showing a spooky town, and here's 4 people fighting a bunch of vampires. This is from Arcane, and it's the team that did Dishonored and Dishonored 2. And so now you know what to expect. And everyone's like, we don't understand. And no one understood what the game was. They showed it this year. They showed gameplay. And it does look very much like, okay, I could see why people still think this might be a Left 4 Dead. But the more they talk about it, like, okay, well, no, it's going to be open world. And there's a ton of stuff happening between the shooting that is going to be very much like an Arcane game, like a Dishonored game. So based on hearing this information and seeing it, how's everyone feeling about Redfall?
I will give anything that dev team does a shot.
Sure.
As snarky as the trailer was, and that was kind of a turn off. I'll give it a look. I'll give it a look. See.
Yeah. I Backlog, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think I still think it has left me with what we saw. I still think it's left me with more questions still of just the kind of moment to moment, beats of this thing. I don't know why, but I sort of feel like the direction Deathloop went in, I think there could be maybe, not a 1-to-1 overlap, but like a similar sort of territory where it feels open worldy, but has this kind of structuring about it. Which I think, obviously that pedigree, there's some shared DNA there that might make a little sense. I don't know. But again, I think this game still has to really either wait till someone plays it to really understand what that's going to feel like. I just don't know if what we've seen over the weekend was enough to really convey and demonstrate exactly what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, I think I feel similar to you, Jason. Like I did all of Back for Blood, even the DLC, and I kind of got like fatigued with the 4-person shooter survive against the Horde style. But knowing that Arcane is at the helm,
it's going to be a different game than that for sure.
Yeah, they've been out there today. So today was the Xbox Showcase Extended, and they had his name's going to escape me, but their main PR guy at Bethesda was talking about like, oh yeah, but I get why people are making that comparison, but keep in mind that this game, we're building this game to be played single player as much as we're building it to be played multiplayer. And when you're playing single player, it's not like you're running around with like your here's the 3 AIs filling in the roles. It's like, no, you're going to be just playing it as a single player game, running around, doing arcane stuff. I'm like, okay, so I think we still need to we need to see the stuff he's talking about in between the combat, because this trailer was a lot of combat, right? So are you going to be sneaking through vents, or if you're like a different kind of, if you're a hacker character or something like that, or are you gonna like be lockpicking and things like that? Like I need to see that stuff with your fangs, right? Forza Motorsport looks good, and I think that's the news story there.
Yeah,
those wheels are round, the roads are wet and cracked. Yeah,
slick. It's like Dan Reichert said, it was the boring one. I really have had a lot of fun with motorsport games in the past.
I think Jess went to go pee at that point.
Yes. And
he was not into it.
But it's like, I get why people feel that way, but I'm ready just sort of to get swept up in super realistic looking cars that have that great physics engine that Forza's already had again. But at a certain point, it's just a great looking game, looking even greater than ever before. So it is what it is.
I'm not a car pervert, but I was intrigued watching this because I feel like the car perverts out there will get a game that won't be as bad about the monetization like Gran Turismo has been. So shouts out to the car perverts and your round wheels now.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Big day for car pervs.
And then they ended with Starfield. I've like been on a journey with my feelings about this game since seeing it, and my I think I was shocked at how familiar it felt as someone who's played a lot of Skyrim and a lot of Fallout. And I'm like, okay, I could just completely, this looks like Fallout in space. And even like when they started showing the factions, this is okay. Yeah, these like are very similar to like the Brotherhood of Steel, but in space. And then the parts that weren't like that did look like No Man's Sky, and we've seen a lot of comparisons to that. So, but I'm realizing it's like, okay, if No Man's Sky had the vast like possibility space and campaign like things that you could be doing with a bunch of characters that you could be interacting with, I think No Man's Sky would have had a very different launch than the one it did have. So I'm like, I think Starfield still seems very exciting to me. I just needed to get over that initial shock of being like, oh, this is just exactly what these games have always been.
Yeah, that's the total thing. It's like coming to grips with reality, right?
Right.
Where we all have a down to earth moment with stuff, and I think a lot of people had that with their first look at Starfield, where it's like, oh wait, this is still just a video game.
Yeah, right.
Like it's honestly as like generalized as that. You know, like you know, I talk about this all the time, where I take the temperature of my normie friends by like.
Sure.
Volume of and quality and context of the texts I get right after a thing like that, and they're like, "What do you think of Starfield, man? Looks sick, right?" And it's just like, right. I'm like, "What are we talking about?" I'm like, "What are we talking about? Let's unpack this and talk about it."
Yo, it's like you're making a hard gummy ship in this joint, bro.
Okay, never mind. We can't play this game now. Never mind.
So yeah, I mean, like again, it is also a thing that is impossible to convey, and you know, you're seeing a very deliberate look at it, and just
there's
like
a lot of things to worry
else,
about too, right? Like when they say stuff like there's thousands of planets and there's hundreds of star systems, and people are gonna go, well.
We've heard this before. Yeah,
and a lot of those planets are going to be boring and completely dead. But they were like, "Yeah, that's exactly right." That's actually. Once I started I listened to what they said again, and they're like, "Yeah, a lot of these planets are going to be just resources because you're going to go down there, and maybe very occasionally something special and bespoke will be down there. But most of the time, it's going to be like our actual moon." And it's like, it's like,
are you talking mess about the moon grub?
I'm talking
Yeah,
mess
no.
about them. Someone needs to do this. Finally, someone needs
It's
to
just
say it.
Bethesda finally delivering on the actual hard truth that space, in fact, is very boring.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of dead stuff, and then occasionally there's like an Earth, and they said there's going to be these Goldilocks planets in the Goldilocks zone where life does exist, and that's going to be all of their bespoke content and story content is going to be there. And occasionally you're going to meet someone there who's going to say, "Okay, I need you to go to this planet and go get this thing on this dead world, and make sure you have the right gear to do that." And then you're going to go there, and you're going to discover like, oh, there is like a handful of things on this moon that is otherwise barren for me to discover. And then if I want to like drive around it, I of course can do that because they are rendering the entire thing. But it's gonna be set up like that. And to me, that sounds like, okay, that is in line with what sounds like is possible for a video game, while also having the what feels like this impossible scope where like no one can ever play that much content, no one can ever even make that much content. It's like, well, it's not going to be exactly like that. So I've come to grips with a lot of the stuff they are saying about this game.
I'm sorry if they had mentioned it during the showcase, but are these planets going to be randomized at all, or are they going to be the same planets across the board?
I think they're gonna be the same planets across the board for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Even in No Man's Sky, which was procedurally generated, they used the same procedures for everybody. So if you wanted to go to the same planet as someone else, you could technically do that. Like every disc ships with all of those planets, although they've changed a lot with updates since then. I feel like Starfield is going to have a major marketing campaign that is going to be inescapable here pretty soon. And so we're going to have a lot of opportunities to talk about it again. But right now, I'm like, okay, it got introduced. We got to get over these like small little humps, and then once we're on the other side, we can maybe start getting excited for it. We'll see.
It does have great packaging. It does have great sort of, those boxes are ticked from that point of view. So
there's a group of Bethesda fans who are RPG fans who are like getting a bit frustrated with the way Bethesda was going with some of the recent games. Like, for example, in Fallout 4, when you would speak to NPCs, the camera would pull out and it would show the NPC, and then it would show your player character, and your player character would talk and have a voice and say the lines that you were basically choosing. Well, a lot of fans didn't like that. They thought it was a little bit weird. So Bethesda has confirmed that dialogue is going to all happen from first person in Starfield, and your character does not have a voice. Now, to me, that's like, oh, that's weird. I thought it was like, doesn't that feel old fashioned? But apparently fans of this genre are very excited about this specific thing. And so how are you guys feeling about it when you hear that? Silent protagonist. Yeah.
I could go either way. Like, just make it the best way. I trust you to make that decision. That's not my choice. That's
right. That's kind of how I am too with that. But like, people have an opinion about it. I'm like, oh, you have a really strong opinion about it. You probably know more than I do. Is kind of how I feel about this. So,
I don't know. As long as I hear some grunts or like verbal emotes, like
you'll probably get some. Yes, you'll get the when you fall down a large hill. Yes. Okay, and then the biggest game announced at the show for certain people, Hollow Knight Silk Song, finally reappearing. Yes, people have been waiting for this to show up at every Nintendo Direct, and then Microsoft is the one to have it. They paid the money, and they're getting it on Game Pass day one. So they're making moves. It seems to be like one of the ways they are patching up their immediate future, where they don't have a lot. They have a spotty record of being able to release games in the next 6 months or something like that. So like, hey, we're bringing in as many of these games as we possibly can, and they brought the bag to the Silk Song developers, and they're going to drop that game on Game Pass day one. A similar sort of news story. Xbox is going to be working with Hideo Kojima, a maker of video games from Japan. So Kojima says he still has a very good relationship with PlayStation. He said that after the show, but during the show he said, "This is the game I've always wanted to make," and so he's making something like that. And I guess the leaks
Snatcher
2, yeah, that would be fantastic. The leaks before the show were for a horror game called Overdose. They didn't show any gameplay, they didn't show any pictures, they didn't say a name. It was just, we are working together. What do you guys want Hideo Kojima to make for Xbox?
Snatcher 2.
Oh,
yeah, that's actually my answer too now. So good answer, Jason.
What's something he could use and take advantage of on the Xbox platform?
Well, so like he's going to be working in the cloud, but like think about like Flight Sim being able to like accurately render the entire Earth. Like, do you want to give that power to Hideo Kojima?
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, he's almost
he's just gonna fucking render egg cooking with it. Like it's not like it's gonna be
But you realize, in a way, he's kind of like locked into that now, right? Like he's kind of locked. I mean, this is the second time I feel like they've made the business of mentioning that, right? Like,
Yes.
So you're sort of committed to that. For the sake of like destroying Dan's optimism, like I want him to make a Red Dead Redemption game so that Dan has to hate it. That'd be great.
You know,
I would love that.
He might make a good cowboy game that I'd like. I don't want to admit that.
Yeah, pretty good.
I don't want to admit that. Yeah. I don't know. Mentioning the stuff with Microsoft Flight Simulator, I just want to learn how to fly with Guillermo del Toro as my co-pilot or my coach.
There you go. He's almost certainly going to have celebrity friends in the games. So I think he might be.
Do you think he saw The Rock earlier and was like, oh, I got to get that guy on something?
That'd be too much.
Isn't he palling around with like someone else other than Norman Reedus lately? Isn't there like someone else?
Paddington Bear.
Right. Right. Okay. So like space cowboy thing.
Yeah,
with
the Paddington in
Bear.
a cowboy hat is something I kind of need now. So I bet that's happened on Twitter already. I'll take a look. Yeah, there you go. Riot Games is partnering with Game Pass. This is a pretty big move. If you are someone who plays any sort of Riot game, if you go through Game Pass now, you will get all of the characters unlocked for stuff like League of Legends.
That's crazy.
Yes, and that's like hundreds of dollars worth of content we're talking about there. So you could always play these games free to play, right? But then you would get on the content train of them trying to convince you to monetize. Well, if you're in Game Pass, you're going to be able to bypass a lot of that stuff. This is a big move, and I think it's something that can move the needle for an audience that is, those are the games they play. They play Valorant. They play League of Legends. Is that any of you, Jan?
What gave it away?
Have spent so much money on League of Legends in the past. I can't
call them up. Can I get a refund? Xbox said they could just give it to me. Can I get my money back?
I can't tell you the number of times my dumbass youth who was living paycheck to paycheck would fucking scrounge a $20 bill just to buy a stupid character.
Man, that life. Yeah, because I'm like, oh man, I have like $30 right now. I could get $10 worth of cards in Hearthstone. I'm gonna just do that. That'll give me some happiness for a little while, and then you don't get anything, and you're just miserable. God, video games are bad.
Yeah. We'll get some Riot amnesty for forgiveness for Jan. We'll figure it out there, dude.
In an international monetary fund, we'll be like, all right, Jan, we'll bail you out.
This can't get me back into League. I got out. This was like the addiction I could quit. This is the gambling I could quit. I need to don't throw me back in.
You don't need to gamble anymore because you got them all.
Oh, I guess so.
Now just move on to something else, something more dangerous. And it needs the next thing. This is not coming anytime soon, like not in the next month or so. I think they said by the end of this year, maybe. It's kind of frustrating. So like, well, now you know, like, don't spend any more money on Riot games until this happens. There you go, Jan. You're safe. Stalker 2. This actually just got announced in the extended showcase here a minute ago. There was a dev video, and they said Stalker 2, unsurprisingly, now coming in 2023. This is a game that they previously said was going to maybe come in December of this year, and no one believed them. This is a company that I believe is affected by the war between Russia and Ukraine. And so they are trying to mostly just keep their developers safe and out of it. Okay, now I have below here for the guys on the podcast, there's a big list of games that also happen in the show, and I don't know if we need to go through all of them, but like stuff like helicopters and Flight Sim and Halo Pelican and Flight Sim, that's pretty
crazy.
Cool.
That's pretty
the fucking Forza Horizon Hot Wheels stuff. That looks amazing.
Yeah,
I'm ready for that.
Vin Diesel, also Arc 2. You guys excited for that? Get him on get that boy on dinosaur.
Sure.
Also, Flight Sim also got an update today that completely overhauls the United States of America. So United States of America finally getting an update, everybody. It's all going to be golden from here.
Oh, fantastic.
What did they do?
Did we cancel
improvements to America. They basically what they do is we need them. It's a better constitution is the big one.
Yeah.
They basically they go to all the airports and really spruce them up, and then they really work on the cities. So now you can get much closer to the cities, and they'll look much more like they should look. They've done this for England and a bunch of other territories, and now they've finally done it for the United States, which seems like a lot of work. But
holy shit.
Well, one of the ways they said that they are able to do this is the core team works on this, and then like, well, they're also adding all these cool extra planes. Well, they're working with third-party creators and like community creators who are developing those planes, and they're just like, okay, yeah, come, we'll give you money to do this. This is great, and so those creators get paid. The game gets more content, and then the core team is able to make like big expansions to the way the world looks. So it's like this well-oiled machine that seems to be working very well together. Anything else stand out on this list for anybody, though?
I've highlighted something at the bottom, Jeff.
Persona 3 Portable, yes. Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are coming to the Xbox, and they're coming to Game Pass as soon as they launch on Xbox. They announced later that it is also coming to PlayStation 5 and Steam. Of course, still not Switch. Of course, not Switch. That'd make too much money.
Dude, that,
yeah, how do you feel about this, Jen?
Yeah, it's dope because it's not super hard to try and play Persona 3 on modern consoles and everything. I mean, there are definitely ways you can get it going, but it's nice that this will be a game that will be easily accessible for folks, because I know people like Persona 4 Golden blew up. People are really obsessed with that, and then also with Royal, sorry. That it's going to be dope for folks to see another entry into the Persona series when it was a little bit darker and well, definitely darker with the way they summon their personas. It's also dope because, damn, I'm glad that these games are going to more platforms that maybe after doing well on Game Pass, PS5 and Steam, maybe they'll put it on the Switch.
Yeah, maybe. They probably will. I mean, all of these games can run on Switch right now, no problem technically. It is just Atlas doesn't want to do that work. It usually feels like, or they have other work in the way first, and they don't prioritize the Switch. And maybe that's where like the Xbox money really helps. Like they're paying a Game Pass deal, so that enabled this. That probably facilitated a lot of this. Yeah. So exciting. I'll check these out on my Steam Deck. Never really played a Persona game. I'll give it a try.
Forget even the Switch then. I'll just wait till by the time all of these come out, I might already have a Steam Deck by then.
Yep.
It'll maybe be Q3.
Possible.
That was the Xbox showcase. We talked about this after the show, but like a few days removed. How are you all feeling about that thing? The big takeaway is that they were like saying everything they were going to show for the most part, with a few notable exceptions of maybe Silksong and definitely Hideo Kojima. All of the games were going to be out in the next 12 months. Does this sort of make you guys feel a little bit better about where Xbox is at, or what?
I think it still doesn't necessarily address a pretty sizable hole this holiday, right? And look, that's the nature of this line of work. This is what happens, right? And again, like you said, like they've done an effort to mitigate that through acquisition and pretty much buying stuff that fills that void a little bit. I think again, after that showcase closed, and you take another step back and you're like, yeah, this is just like the ultimate Game Pass commercial.
100%, yeah.
That's what this is. And that is how I see them speaking about their product for the foreseeable future is, the sort of lines have been drawn a little bit where it comes to like exclusivity, right, is a different conversation now. And as far as Microsoft is concerned, it's Game Pass, or bust. So
yeah,
get used to that.
I think it's a decisive power move for them to show how many titles are going to be hitting Game Pass the week that the new tiers of PlayStation Plus arrive in North America.
Yeah, 100%.
And just how, I don't want to say disappointing, but maybe underwhelming that has been across the board, while Game Pass continues to be almost a no-brainer in terms of a subscription service, where it's like, yeah, I didn't check anything out this month, but next month I'll probably have like 20, like not even an exaggeration, but 20 plus new games to check out, or at least try out. Mm-hmm. It's so wild. Like each time I fire it up, it's like, I haven't actually downloaded anything. Maybe I'll just cancel it, and then I'll see like 5 options of stuff. Like, oh, maybe I'll check that out, and then the drip feed continues.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Where like even I'm not turning on my Xbox a lot, especially when I'm moving, but it's I'll turn on for NHL, and then it's like, oh yeah, Game Pass stuff will just sort of get in my periphery as I'm going through the UI, and I'm like, oh, there is a ton here, and I'm like, okay, and I'm fine with that being my relationship with it, where it's like I will check in on Game Pass as these very interesting and very big games start coming to it, and then as I'm playing these games, the time's gonna fly, and we're gonna get into 2023 very soon, which seems to be a pretty packed year for Xbox. I mean, we're just talking in the first half, Redfall, Motorsport, and Starfield. And then by June, they have another E3, and they can tell us all the stuff they're going to have in the next 12 months and beyond. And it's probably going to be a lot of stuff by then. Perfect Dark, maybe, within a year of that next E3. So it's going to get very busy very soon for them. But yeah, by the end of this year, it's like not a ton of first party stuff, but Game Pass is probably going to be enough to keep me happy.
Totally.
Speaking of Game Pass, Xbox is coming to TVs with an Xbox app on Samsung's 2022 smart TVs.
Wow.
So if you have if your Xbox jumps out the window, if it explodes, but you have a Samsung TV, you just connect your controller straight to the TV using Bluetooth, and you can begin streaming Xbox Game Pass games immediately. Once this app goes live on June 30th, you can get the Xbox app from the Samsung Gaming Hub or the Media Hub, and as long as you log into your Microsoft account, that's all it takes. That's all you have to do. This is a slightly bigger deal than it would have been a few months ago, because Fortnite, you don't even need a subscription to Game Pass to play it. You just load up Fortnite through the Xbox Game Pass app on Samsung, connect a controller, and you could begin playing Fortnite completely free, streaming from the cloud.
With all the kids? Oh my God.
With all the kids. One of the things they mentioned as part of this big interview that they did is that Fortnite has brought in 20%. 20% of the players playing Fortnite through the cloud are completely new to Xbox.
Holy shit.
They are just bringing in a huge number of people.
That is wild.
Huge number of people who've never interacted with Xbox before, now starting up Xbox accounts. They can be a part of this.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about how
20%.
bananas that is. 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5 of the people playing Fortnite through the cloud are completely new to Xbox. So yeah.
That's mind blowing. All I know is these smart TVs better have an Ethernet jack.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, and or at least a very, very good Wi-Fi card, because there's no guarantee they're going to have the best Wi-Fi cards. That's the kind of thing that they can skip out on, because video doesn't need a ton, right? So
you're introducing just a lot of variables there, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Xbox also expanded cloud gaming into more countries, New Zealand and Argentina. Shout out Argentina. Microsoft is also improving gaming on Windows 11 and Microsoft Edge. Let me know if any of these things affect the way you game. Optimizations are being made for windowed gaming, and just lost it. So yes, and it's currently being tested in the Windows Insider program. So gaming through a window right now can also often cause a lot of problems where if it's in the forefront and something in the background maybe takes attention away for a second, the game can just really chug and things like that. They're trying to eliminate that. Here's what I care about: HDR calibration and HDR being improved on Windows 11. Windows HDR has been pretty bad. It's getting better over time, but they're launching a calibration app, and they are trying to improve everything about HDR in Windows.
It's kind of a problem still.
Yes, absolutely. It's good that they know it, and it sounds like they are addressing it. They're launching a Game Pass widget that's going to enable people on PC to discover more Game Pass games. And they have a controller bar sort of app, like the little widget thing that'll live over everything. And this will feature a list of your most recent games, a shortcut to popular game launchers, and enables you to access cloud gaming without the need for a mouse and a keyboard. So if you are using a controller, and that'll pop up this controller hub, and now you can get to everything very quickly without having to get the mouse out as well. So they're thinking about a lot of the problems that might get introduced with trying to get more people gaming through these things, and it sounds like they have some solutions. Let's see, and then Edge is going to get a personalized gaming homepage featuring news, game guides, live streams, and more. So everyone
It's
using
like
Microsoft
AOL
Edge
all over again.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, hell yeah.
Maybe the more interesting one here is a built-in clarity boost that makes gameplay from cloud look sharper. So it sounds like they're going to add a filter.
What does that mean?
It sounds okay. So if you play over the cloud, you get a lot more noise and a lot more like macro blocking and stuff like that.
Right.
And so they're basically going to be applying a filter on top of that
to smooth it out.
I actually have one of these like
you have the filter?
I have like a little cable, like an M cable that you plug into the switch. And what it does, it just adds like anti-aliasing and a few other effects like without any lag on top of it. And it worked way better than I was expecting it. So it's like when I stream Switch games, they look like they might be like rendering at 1440p when they're definitely rendering at like 720p. So it's probably that same technology, the same basic idea.
Got it.
Let's see. Later this year, Xbox Cloud Gaming will enable you to play games from your personal Xbox library. So right now, if you have the Cloud app, you can get games from Xbox Game Pass. But if you own something like, say, I have NHL and I want to play NHL, I'm going to have to get on my Xbox or I'm going to have to stream it from my Xbox. What this is going to do is if you own a game through the Xbox ecosystem, you could just hook it up and now you're playing it from the cloud, from a server without having to boot up your Xbox or go down to your Xbox. It'll just work just like the Xbox Game Pass library does. I think this is a pretty good move. I was kind of expecting this
I would
earlier.
imagine if you have the disc, though, is that a different story or what?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But I would imagine that it is probably not going to work that way. Yeah, if you have the disc. Yeah. It's probably going to be games that you own digitally. Maybe if you have the disc in the system, they could spin it up and check, but that seems like something they probably are not going to build.
Okay.
Xbox Design Lab is relaunching. You're going to get new colors: soft pink, soft orange, soft green, and soft purple.
What does soft with colors mean?
Hey, that's a very good question.
Oh,
is that soft?
Yeah, that seems like a soft teal.
Okay.
Soft aqua.
Soft pink. I don't know. I'd have to look.
I have an unrelated question. Why are they called soft drinks? They're bubbly. They're not
because a hard drink is liquor.
Yeah, soft drink has alcohol in it. Yep. There you go.
Today I learned.
Yep, there you go.
Me too. The Xbox Design Lab is also launching in 11 new countries. Let's see. This is the final one from this like big Xbox interview session they did. Xbox Game Pass on PC grew 300% last year. So this is, they have Xbox Game Pass for console and Xbox Game Pass for PC. And they're both $10 now per month. And if you get Ultimate, you get them both. But the PC version alone has grown 300%. And it was always smaller than the console one, but that's a pretty good bump. I'll say that in this interview, Phil Spencer was like quick to be like, I'm kind of downplaying that number. And the person that was interviewing was like, you always do this. You always say that we, even when we have like a 300% growth, we are setting our goals way higher. So it's clear that like they were expecting even more, or at least he was setting super high goals. And I think that continues to be like his way of operating when it comes to this stuff, where even if things are growing fast, he's like, I want stuff to be growing way faster, come up with every possible way we can to make this stuff grow insane.
Just like on its face, right? Like, Phil, what's your secret? Unattainable goals.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
That's also what that interview seemed like.
Is Phil Spencer the Tom Cruise of like
always sprinting, but always just sprinting in video games? Yes. Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise
never
was like,
reach ball.
I'm gonna get people to go back to the movie theaters with Top Gun Maverick.
That's not safe. That'll never work. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. I'll go to a country that'll let me do it. This country, the insurance won't cover me. I'm gonna go to a country that will. All right, Phil Spencer. Jesus.
Please, next Xbox thing. I just need a solid 10-20 seconds of Phil Spencer running full sprint.
Yes, full sprint. Oh man, that would be so sweet.
That'll never work, and that's why it's gonna work.
That does it for the Xbox interview thing, though, and there's a lot more news, Jan. So I say, take a break.
Yeah, I would love to take a break. Let's take a quick breather, and we'll be back with some more news and a couple, maybe like a cat's paw full of emails. See you soon. Jeff Bakalar, you know what I think about a lot. I've think about looking at, the business and just hiring and the different levels that are going on. And I feel like there's something missing. I feel like this whole process could be faster. And
the business.
the business. I'm not a certified businessman, but you know what I need?
What's that?
Indeed.
Oh,
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place, Jeff.
yeah. And I feel like from what you're telling me, instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, you can use Indeed's powerful hiring partnership that will help you do it all.
That's right, because they have time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews.
Yeah, I think I know what Instant Match is, right? Over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed data. So this is data supported.
I love data, and one of the other things I love about Indeed is that they make hiring all in one place so easy because of their tools such like, we've talked about virtual interviews. And with virtual interviews, Indeed saves you time. It saves everyone time. You can message, schedule, and interview top talent all in one place. And if there's anything I know about you, Jeff Bakalar, you love top talent. We're all about
I love talent,
top talent,
baby. All kinds. Yes, that's right. Even better. Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements, so no wasteful spending.
Indeed is an unbelievably powerful hiring partner, delivering 4 times more hires than other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest in 2019.
So join more than 3 million businesses. I didn't even know there were 3 million businesses.
Wow.
Join all of those worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast.
Sign up for Indeed now and get $75 credit towards your first sponsored job. Plus, earn up to $500 extra in sponsored job credits with Indeed's virtual interviews. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to learn more.
You can claim your credits at Indeed.com/bomb.
Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Indeed.
So you're telling me Canada isn't like the direct middle of all of us geographically?
Well, I mean, there's probably like a place in central Canada that like could fit that, purpose, but
I think if you so not by the way the bird flies, because the bird needs to like go with the curve of the earth. Now, if you go by the way the gopher burrows, so if like you were to go like straight through the earth, I think it would probably still not be Canada, but it might be closer.
It would be like Nebraska. Is what I think it would be like. Dead
the way
center.
the earth curves way more than you think it does, so it's just like
think about those curves.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. I had to explain to Reichert that like planes have to compensate for that, or they just go right into space. He didn't believe that.
Yesterday here in San Francisco is really windy, and I think I might have said the oddest thing to my partner I've ever said to her. And then I was just watching these birds fly, and then I look at her, look at the bird, look at her, and ask, "You think birds have a hard time flying sometimes? You think they just get annoyed?"
Yeah. You think you think they're just like, fuck? You know what? It's amazing we can do this, but it's hard.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
I
pulling
think
my
that a
leg
lot.
here. Okay. Thank you. Anyways, Jeff Grubb, we still got a whole grip of news to get through, sir. So
it's like even more still than like a regular amount of news is what we have left. Let's do this Capcom showcase real quick. How do you all feel about Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 getting new gen updates that are all available to play right now?
Right now?
Yeah,
Damn.
I think that's cool. Does that include PC?
I believe that includes every platform where they're available. This is stuff like, they're adding ray tracing and better lighting effects across the board.
Okay.
And so it's like, these games came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, now they've updated to like take advantage of the power of the Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. PC version getting a bonus there as well. But yeah, I believe this is for everything. So these things were launched yesterday. I haven't seen people check in on this too much, but I don't know. We'll probably get some detailed reports here soon. Yeah. I've been playing a little bit of Resident Evil 2 again. So I'm like, I should probably just like install that update and see how it looks. We'll see. I'm playing on the Steam Deck though, so we'll see how much power I actually get out of it. Resident Evil Village, however, is getting new story DLC, Here's the one thing I was surprised though. It's getting a third-person mode, so they are going to pull the camera out and let you
Very
see
cool.
the homeboy with the hands. So
Very cool.
Is it Ethan? Is that his name?
Ethan, yeah.
Ethan.
I've
just call him
heard Ethan
Handboy.
is a himbo. So
Himbo, right.
I'm down to see all the himbo hands.
So,
Yeah.
wait, so they're adding new story to Village,
The story DLC, correct?
and then they're going to let you play the entire game third person?
That's right.
That's neat. What are they going
That's-
to add, like a house or something? What do you think?
I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think they're probably gonna. They'll probably what they'll do is they'll probably just add a new spoke to the hub and spoke thing, right?
Right.
Where like, yeah, that's probably right.
Hmm.
I don't know where it'll go, but
That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, the
Josh,
story
I will
DLC.
gladly take
Story
that.
DLC is third person only, so I guess that makes sense.
Oh. Okay.
So they're probably gonna do stuff that's like, we're gonna mess him entirely up instead of just his hands this time. We're gonna get his butt cheeks. We're gonna clap those butt cheeks.
We're
We
gonna
need
put
to see
something
that.
on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I missed the Monster Hunter news in the Capcom showcase. I don't see it on there. That's weird.
I was half paying attention. Hey, Jason, Monster Hunter
So
correspondent.
we're getting a new biome, which
Okay,
is
here we
actually the jungle is coming back. Everybody's favorites, and a few new monsters that have actually appeared in other series. We got like Gore Magala. We got something from Frontiers and so on and so forth. I won't bore you with the details. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
I was pretty busy during this Capcom showcase, so I actually did miss almost everything that was happening there. There's also
Sure you
apparently
did.
Reverse news, and they gave it a date to come out. What is the date? They're helping me out in chat right now, but not very well. Propaganda Panda. So we'll check in on that again. I need to talk about Sonic Frontier. Okay, October 28th, I think is what people are saying. That makes sense for Reverse. Reverse is the multiplayer Resident Evil game.
One of
Reverse.
them, yeah.
Reverse.
Yeah, yes, get out of here. Speaking of reversing back out of something that doesn't look too great, Sonic Frontiers is not going to get delayed due to fan feedback. This is maybe the funniest thing to happen this year.
They're not going to
there
fix the teeth this time. God damn it!
You're gonna
That's
get
right.
ugly Sonic and like it.
Fans started a change.org petition
oh
campaign
God.
asking Sega to please delay Sonic Frontiers to make it a better game. And Sega's like, no, you are going to take your medicine, open up wide, here it comes, and slide on down. Masticate, of course. You're going to chew. We need you to chew.
Chew that liquid.
Chew it up, but you're gonna chew up some Sonic Frontiers. I don't know I don't think that game looks too good, but I also think it looks fine for Sonic fans. But if Sonic fans are saying, dear God, please not again, then I think
Seriously.
there might be something wrong.
Right? Oh
Yeah.
my God!
From what I was able to see off of folks playing it's a bit rough.
A bit rough. That seems fair. Yeah. I don't know.
There was
I
a
get
moment
it's delayed.
where Sonic opened his hand and then a key flew out of it. Not like he pulled it out of his non-existent fur pocket, but he just opened his hand.
It hovered out of his hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Well,
It's
where else
still
are you gonna
a
hide it?
It's still a ways out, Maybe he could put it in a little fun backpack or fanny
Little
pack.
pouch?
Well, yeah.
One can hope. Sega has spoken previously about maybe doing a Sonic Adventure 3. The Sonic producers are now saying that they are not working on that. They're not going to do that. So, listen, Sonic continues to be in a real just rough spot, except for when you think about how good Sonic Mania was, and they keep not announcing that game. I'm sorry if I felt like I was spooling up to announce, they're making a Sonic Mania. That just sounds like we're not getting more of that anytime soon. So. Ubisoft plans to reveal the future of the Assassin's Creed series in September. I've heard some rumors about this. I'm going to keep looking deeper into it, but I guess what do you guys want from Assassin's Creed's future when we hear about it in September?
I want Assassin's Creed in the future.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
That's what I would like. That's the kind of Assassin's Creed that would get me to play another one of those games.
You work in a Cirque du Soleil family. That's what I want.
Ooh.
You're a little trapeze boy.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like
sure.
that.
Finally explains all the parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just do it since he's not here. Dan Reichert would say that these games suck shit. and he hates them so much. So there you go, Dan.
They're not
We've-
bad.
Careful, you're going to get
I
him
like
to
this
fucking
one.
jump in the Discord or something.
Mm,
Don't invoke Dan Reichert, please.
Doing my kid learned in preschool. No, X. No,
No.
I'm doing X with
You
my
owe
fingers.
him
everybody.
nothing.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. Wu-Tang.
There he is.
popped
There he
in.
fucking
yeah,
is.
Listen, he wouldn't have done it
God
until you
damn
said
it.
he was going to do it.
What are you guys talking about?
Assassin's Creed.
Hey, Dan.
Dan,
Oh,
You love
cool.
Assassin's Creed?
you fucked up the
Oh, yeah,
layout and shit.
This is going to be so hard. Oh, well, there he
Wow,
goes.
No,
Okay.
just turn off the deal. Don't click the thing that don't show. Oh, CT just come in here and yell at us and then left. That's
Well, no,
wonderful.
he's still going to be a square on there, like, right?
Well, you can hit the
It'll-
more button or the three buttons at the top and say show
I don't-
non-video participants and uncheck it,
I-
and then it'll make
You
him
were
go
not
away.
invited
I don't want to teach him
at the
to do this.
Outlook calendar invites, Dan.
All right. Wu-Tang Clan. There's members of the Wu-Tang Clan called Raekwon and Ghostface who are very good at rapping.
That's fucking
And-
sick.
The people who made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new game, Shredder's Revenge, had said, hey, Raekwon and Ghostface, you're pretty good at rapping. Can you rap about the Ninja Turtles for a
Hell
track for our
yeah.
new game?
Hell
and it
yeah.
fucking slaps. It's so good.
It's very good.
Have you guys heard it?
Well, we can hear it right now.
Ooh,
Hey!
okay, let's do it.
Wait for it. Wait for
Yeah.
it.
I'm
There we
waiting.
go. Oh, is that coming out?
It's coming.
Yeah, a little
A
bit.
little bit.
Oh, it's
play a
cutting
little
out.
bit.
Can shoot up a little bit, but it'll probably be fine. Yeah, there it is.
Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Oh man, it's so crazy, dude.
Okay, that's it. That's it. We don't need.
Oh,
that's
so
so
good.
DMC.
That
Okay.
song is
Okay.
good. So now that's fair use. So now that I've criticized it.
He said pizza.
And you believed it. Like you were just like, yeah, of course.
The new partner of the NFL. So a lot of
That's
moves
true.
being made. All right. Kotaku has reported, surprisingly, that people hated working on Fallout 76. This is a game that definitely was being put together by a B team involving Bethesda Game Studios, and a lot of people who went to go work on that game ended up leaving, and it was especially rough for QA. That game came out very buggy and very rough shape. It's not too surprising to hear that it was very stressful, and that people didn't want to continue doing that, so many people left.
Damn.
We get stories like this a lot. I think it's this is one of those situations where like that sounds about right. I do wonder like how much that affected like the main Bethesda Game Studios game, or if they were sort of blissfully unaware over there working on their Starfield while all this fire was happening behind them. But yeah. Jason Schreier, a reporter for Bloomberg, said God of War Ragnarok is still set to come in November. And he also mentioned like things could still change. It could still get delayed. But last year it's coming in November. We'll take a temperature check of the room here. You guys still feel like that game's coming this year?
I don't know if they need it to, but yeah, let's absolutely shoot for it, please.
Yeah, I mean, look, halfway through the year, and that's still a thing that is, today. I don't know if it's getting delayed. That decision's got to get made pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like to avoid folks being disappointed, if they think it may miss November, they should just push it off now.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this conversation happening because of those like unsubstantiated rumors? Is that
Yes. He came out and replied to basically there were a bunch of rumors saying the game was definitely already delayed, and he's like, that's not what the people working on the game are saying, which sounds about right to me.
I'm giving them quotes, this halfway through June. Gotta
and like, if they knew the game was going to get delayed, they definitely would have done so already. Like we saw that happen with Zelda, right? Breath of the Wild 2 is already delayed, and that happened like in March or something like that. And like they knew that was coming later this year. They just pulled the Band-Aid off. I think PlayStation and Sony Santa Monica probably still believe today that this game is coming out this year. We'll see if that changes. This is I guess breaking, but very like the least surprising thing in the world. Todd Howard has confirmed that Fallout 5 will come after The Elder Scrolls 6. So this is okay. Let's
what is this? Is grandson gonna work on it? Like, what are we talking about here, dude?
Starfield comes out next year. And then they begin work in earnest on Elder Scrolls 6, and that's going to take at least 5 years.
Why even say these things? What is the purpose?
So we're talking about like, okay, so it's 2023, then plus 5. We're talking maybe 2028 at the earliest for Elder Scrolls 6. And then we're talking 2032, 2033, 2034 for Fallout 5.
Yeah.
It's a baffling thing when we're like, that's it. First of all, those years don't exist. They're made up. No one's ever going to see those years.
Exactly.
Let alone a video game. Like the idea of planning a video game to come out at that time frame is just baffling. But other things have to happen with Fallout between now and then, right? The next real Fallout game cannot be Fallout 5. It can't be it can only be Fallout 5. Something else has to happen in that franchise between now and then, right?
76
I guess.
I was just going to say that. God damn it.
76-2. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Shit. I hope we get something before then. Like I said, I've heard that the one thing I've heard is that the conversation has begun to maybe get Obsidian to make a Fallout or a follow-up to Fallout New Vegas. But that's also pretty early, and that's a busy team too. So it could be sometime.
Newer Vegas.
This is one that happened like we would have talked about this on the Bombcast last week if we would have done news. It was happening like that day. But a website called Fanbyte from the #1 games journalist Imran Khan.
Never heard of him.
Yeah,
That guy
seems
schmuck. Yeah, I'll get my revenge in Final Wrestling eventually. He says that Nintendo is sitting on a terrible game called Everybody's 1-2 Switch, and he's not calling it terrible. I'm not calling it terrible. Nintendo's internal testing says the game is miserable to play.
Oh no,
that's so sick. That is so sick that they're calling it miserable.
So, well, let's talk about why it's miserable. The idea for this game is, okay, so 1-2 Switch was a thing that's showing off the Joy-Cons early in the Switch's launch, like the launch game,
the milking
Switch.
thing and stuff.
The milking thing, right? Exactly. So they have those games, but they want to like do a follow up. They're like, we need to come up with some idea. So, we're going to do
Milking 2,
the sequel to Milking. They're like, we need to have everybody connect their phones and basically do what Jackbox does, and so everyone can play, and we'll call it Everybody's 1-2 Switch. Well, the problem is that they took those mini games from 1-2 Switch, and now they have a bunch of people playing, so they need these games to go longer and longer. But they don't get much more fun over that time. They go for like 15 to 20 minutes.
What?
And people it's like fun. The round's finally coming to an end, but people are like, no, we don't want to play anymore. This is
fucking edging with that milking for 15, 20 minutes. God damn.
Could you imagine?
Stamina, baby.
Some
it's all
fucking tantric shit.
That's why you know what? Everybody's 1-2 Switch. You got to pass it to the family.
Yeah.
This is how you get me to care, though. Like, this is exactly how you get me to care about Everybody's 1-2 Switch, where like you position it like the game Nintendo's completely embarrassed about, the game they'll never release, and you're just like, inject that shit into my face.
Nintendo seal of quality in the corner. Yeah.
It doesn't know what to do with this game. What do you think they should do with this game? Should just release it for what, $20? Should they?
Yes.
No, full price.
Full price.
$60.
Have the courage of your conviction, Nintendo. All your games are $60. Fine, make this one $60.
Yeah.
I bet this ends up on Nintendo Switch Online for free.
Okay.
No, man. They're saving it for Switch 2. They're just going to call it Everybody's 2 Switch.
Yes.
Switch 2.
Is it that more insulting though to get this for free? Of like, hey, I know it's been a while since we've given something out to y'all, but here's Everybody's 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, is an option to just make it fun? Could they just do that? I don't know.
No.
Why would you do that?
It's done. This game is done. It's in the can. This is what we're left with. It must come out.
Maybe it's because they were sitting on it, you know?
That's
ever think about that?
Right, it's lopsided now. Yeah. There is a list of 700 plus PlayStation Plus games that are available on PlayStation Plus. I guess what's the top tier? I remember when I did the story.
Top tier is premium.
Thank you. So if you get premium, you get up to 700 or more than 700 games in North America. There's a list. You can go to Video Game Chronicle, videogameschronicle.com. They listed all of the games there if you want to check that out. But there's not, I mean, I don't know. When I was looking at it, not a ton stood out to me. It's like, this is still a pretty slight list for classic games specifically. If we're talking PS4 games, it's a very good list, actually.
Yeah.
But
totally.
And so I was looking at the list the last couple days, or it came out yesterday, right? What is the difference? So are they getting rid of PlayStation Now?
Yes.
Okay.
PlayStation Now is just being absorbed into Plus.
Okay, which
And
makes
then,
sense.
yes, then it's gone. Yes.
Also, I feel like there's, obviously all the it's the PS3 stuff that streaming is the only option.
That's correct. And there's some issues there. There's some things that probably aren't too big of a deal. Like PS Now, that technology has always been 720p. I think they said they were going to update it to 1080p. But PlayStation 3 games I think only run at 720, right? I don't think they ever run at 1080. So
maybe 1080 does. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe in a few games, but most of those are probably rendering at 720 at best. So I don't know. Maybe that's not too much of a problem, but still, PlayStation Now never looked great. It's not the optimal way to play those games, without a doubt.
Yeah, and it seems like for PS4, your options will vary whether or not you can stream or download. Right. There just doesn't seem to be a real rhyme or reason for the PS4 stuff. Obviously, PS3 is just streaming.
Yes, PlayStation 3 is just because it's got the weird technology.
Sell is a one-time thing, right? That's it.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's weird.
There was a problem with the PlayStation Plus when it launched in like Taiwan and some other places that used NTSC historically. Yeah. They were getting the PAL versions of games.
That's fucked.
Good news for this, though, is that the PlayStation Plus games in North America are 60 hertz. The 60 hertz versions. Wow. They did not make the same error. I wonder if the hubbubaloo convinced them to like, okay, we need to make sure this is all good when we go like switch out those ISOs. But I don't know. This is like, the best case scenario for that side of things. At least we aren't dealing with PAL games, which would have been a real kick in the shin.
At least
I gotta say the list of the Plus classics I found to be the most sort of like, well, this is a sad thing.
Yes, that's like I'm trying to see if I can find like the PlayStation 1 games. There's just not we were going to do maybe a feature where we sit down and like, oh, let's play a bunch of these classic games, and it's like, wow, there's like 4 or 5 that we're really excited to play.
Let's just play Tekken 2 for 6 hours. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I mean, the Mark of Kree, I love the Mark of Kree, but then like I'm like, okay,
it's a great game.
Yeah,
but I played it since then, right? And I mean, look, I get it if it's been a while, but yeah, kind of a bummer.
Dark Cloud 2, really good games, but that's,
do they hold up?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know if they
hold up. Echo Chrome, damn, look at that thing.
Let's see here. Nickelodeon please go ahead.
Sorry, is Kinetica the sexy motorcycle people game?
I don't think. No, I'm not. All I can think of is Connectimals, which is definitely not what that is.
It is the
trying to envision the
It is. Yeah, that is what it is.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's
Are the people motorcycles?
Yeah. It's what if the people were motorcycles?
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reminds me of Baseball Wars, that the cyborg pitcher guy. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Nickelodeon All-Star Battle or All-Star Brawl is finally adding voice acting and items.
They so needed the voice acting so bad. Oh my god!
And this is a game that I think actually had a premium price to it. Like you at least had to pay money up front, whereas opposed to what the Multiversus.
Multiverse, yeah.
Yes, Multiversus had it was free to play, and yet it had all of these voice actors. It was very like they had Kevin Conroy coming in and doing Batman and stuff like that. I believe maybe it was the Superman character that they had the voice for, but it was a stark comparison between that free to play game and Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. It's cool that they have gone back and did this update. You're right, they needed this.
You can finally hear Powdered Toast Man say Powdered Toast Man.
You need that. I need
yes, I need that.
Lovely.
This one is let's see. The Battlefield team doesn't seem like it's growing on a show called Grub Snacks.
Did you cite yourself here?
Yeah, can I do that?
You could say. Jeff Grubb said it is a skeleton crew, and EA came back and said that isn't true. Now, what isn't true? They didn't specify. I said I told them when they reached out to me that I would discuss this the next chance I got on some content, and here we are. But basically, I think the main issue is the implication of what a skeleton crew is. That terminology probably isn't what like when I say that, people are probably thinking much smaller than the reality. There is a team working on this game to get content out. Of course, there would have to be. I said that they are going to see through their commitment to DLCs that they've already made. You can't do that with 10 to 15 people, if that's what people were thinking. There is a significant team working on that content. What I was basically trying to say is that how many thousands of people are working on Call of Duty? Like that is a huge number, right? And it's growing all the time. They are expanding the number of people working on Call of Duty and all the Call of Duty stuff that's happening related to Modern Warfare 2 or whatever. It is the exact opposite with Battlefield, where they are keeping the team relatively small, focused on the stuff they've already committed to, and they are shutting down other parts of the game. Like they shut down their Tarkov mode or whatever. That's already done, and they're not doing that anymore. And it's not like they're replacing, like taking that team and go work on something else for Battlefield 2042. No, the people that might have been doing that stuff are either helping to finish the content they've already committed to, or they are already moving on to the next Battlefield. So it's not like 10 to 15 people. There are probably still a few hundred people working on Battlefield 2042, but it is going to stay at that level, and that it's going to slowly drain away to the next game, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the story of that game going forward. So yes, but basically the big story here is EA says Jeff Grubb big liar.
It's weird how they put that in like bold.
I know, right? Yeah. And then let's see. Netflix is making Dragon Age Absolution, which is an animated series for Netflix. Any excitement for that one?
Kind of. I guess I will give it a shot. Yeah, I like that universe, I guess. So
I think the animated shows on Netflix the animated video game shows have been pretty good, right?
Arcane is really good.
Yeah.
Arcane is
I like
fantastic.
Castlevania.
I don't think they have the fucking budget that Arcane did.
No one does. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. I wanted to end here with a Game Mess update. There are a bunch of stuff still happening, a bunch of shows still happening. Xbox has a follow-up show today, which you can watch right now. That happened live. It's the Xbox Game Showcase Extended. We referenced it a little bit earlier. It was happening concurrently with us for a while, but you can probably go watch that now. Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary event is happening in 2 days on June 16th. Now, my understanding is that it is 10 minutes long. Anyone have any predictions for what we might see? Do we get Final Fantasy VII? Part 2, do you think? Remake Part 2?
No. Not at all.
No, that takes a main stage.
Yeah. And then Annapurna Interactive Showcase is on July 28th. They announced that in the last week.
That's cool. Their stuff's interesting, right? Like I feel like they're sort of carving out their own little slot there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. I giggled because I have notifications on for Twitter, and I just saw the Giant Bomb Twitter account say, "Do not invoke Dan Reichert, please."
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
It's becoming self-aware. It's becoming self-aware.
I left the Ouija board at the office.
He's been sitting there waiting this entire time just for the right moment.
Hey, what?
God damn it!
What's going on?
No.
Quit fucking up the layout.
Are you
Going to be a nightmare to stitch in later.
This is not a Taco Bell.
I don't think I have the right speaker set. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? God. Nod if you can hear me. There's going to be a delay, so it might take a little bit. I'm watching the stream, so just nod. Hold up some numbers or something. I can't hear you. I don't have my headphones. I see Jason. Okay.
2 numbers. Yeah.
I'll get out.
We've made a fine mess.
Oh, I see Jess is around. Jess, why don't you jump in also?
Yeah, right. Why don't we just... Oh God!
We don't have a local fucking track for it. God damn it!
I know.
Yeah,
I'm so mad.
That's the big joke that Dan doesn't realize.
Oh God. All right, and then Nintendo is reportedly planning a direct for later this month. I'll say that I've heard the report.
Hear it all when I do this? They can't hear me at all.
They can hear you live.
They can
We
hear
can hear you
you
live, but not in the recorded.
Right now. You guys should say something. It's dead air, guys.
Oh my
It's
God.
dead air. Fix this.
I'll stitch it in.
my
I'll
God,
stitch
what
it
a
in.
Start talking. Oh wait, I can't hear you if you're talking. That's right. I can't hear you. Sorry, I don't have my headphones on. Sorry.
PTSD stands for Dan, is what it is. I think is what I'm dealing with here. All right. Yes. So Nintendo Direct is probably coming later this month. That's what I've heard. And then multiple other people have said, since I heard that it's happening on like June 28th or 29th. Alana Pierce and YouTuber Nate the Hate were both saying this exact same thing. So
How would they know? God damn it! She
Alana
works
Pierce
for
knows
like Sony.
everybody.
God damn
Knows
it!
everybody.
All right.
I think this sounds right. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think we're going to see at this Nintendo show? Anything big?
No.
Did we get Zelda? No. Yeah.
No.
But-
Is there anything left in that? Is there anything left in that like hopper for this year?
They have a lot of games that they've already announced for this year. So, I mean, they could give us
Bayonetta.
Metroid Prime remake, Bayonetta 3's exact date,
Ooh,
stuff like that.
mama. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be
That would be
down.
enough.
Remake.
That'd be
I said
enough
remake.
direct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what they could also show? They could show the DLC to Nintendo Switch Sports. They've added the golf and stuff.
That's a good
Yes, they
point.
probably will have that stuff lined up as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the honeymoon is definitely over on Switch
Yeah.
Sports.
Hey, I like that game, but yeah, we're not going to be playing much of it. Yeah.
What if it's
Um,
everybody's 1-2 Switch?
Oh, dude, the big closer. Yes. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Plenty of time to change
and it's
course.
out now.
30-minute direct, and it's just Miyamoto just slowly milking. the entire time.
Yeah, for 15
And he's
minutes.
sweating. He's just sweating so much.
His eyeglasses fogged over. And,
Yep.
The ESA said threatened that E3 is coming back in 2023.
That's cute.
I just don't see that team having the competence to put together a show. Like, I mean, I hate to be harsh, but that's been the real issue. Like the first year that they canceled the in-person event, they were on the pathway of canceling that thing anyhow before COVID happened. Like they were struggling anyhow. Jeff Keighley was leaving anyhow. I am 8-bit. We're just like, we're dipping. They don't seem like they know what to do here. And so now, after all this time, after like losing people who are good at putting on events to other companies that were putting on events, and those people probably left for much bigger and better jobs. Like they're suddenly going to be able to do that. I really am skeptical. And Jeff Keighley's going to keep doing his thing. So
yeah, and plus, like the autopsy done after the Game Fest here this month. The reports will come back, and all these vendors realizing like, hey, we got our money's worth doing this little thing. What where's the incentive?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So I don't know.
That does it for the news, guys. I'm all out.
Wow.
Hell yeah,
That
man.
was a lot of news. That's what happens when you
That
skip a
was
week of
mess.
news, huh? Yeah.
Dang. God dang.
Well,
I feel caught up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Feel
want
good.
I don't want to keep everyone here
Everybody.
for too long, so let's read a kitten's eyelash worth of emails. I've been told that I give very odd measurements and very obscene
I
amounts.
don't know what they're talking about.
And I
It's
also give very superfluous like percentages to people.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
love that. Like, what is?
I love that about you.
Like an imperceivable amount of measurement. Let's do it.
Well, your brain starts thinking, and you start to think about like, what a kitten's eyelash.
How many
emails?
turkeys could I fit into this room? What is the turkey volume of this room?
Don't get me started on like how many cheese wheels I can actually fit into a literal room.
Like Baby Bell size or like big cheese wheel? Oh man.
All of the above, Jason. All of the above.
Damn. Oh, I want some cheese.
The email address to send your emails to is bombcast@giantbomb.com. We got a bunch of emails with well wishes and a lot of emails with fun little quizzes to ask the newer members of the team. Maybe one week when we can get Lucy, Grub, and Tam on, and Dan. We can run these fun little quizzes. I'm bracing for impact right now.
It's so bad.
I'm like looking for my seatbelt.
But since the news segment ran a skosh long because of all of the news popping off, let's read.
Yeah, let's read.
Popped it for a second. Who's this? Keith from Toronto, Canada writes and asks, which games have you had the most dreams about? Why? Cheers from Toronto, Canada. Keith, rocket scientist, aka rocket scientist.
It's a good question.
But dreams don't die. I don't fucking know.
I don't have too many dreams about games. What I do, I get the actual Tetris effect where like once I start playing a game a lot, I start seeing the relation to like that, like the way I feel when I'm playing that game, I feel that way about the world. So play Assassin's Creed enough, I see a wall, I'm like thinking about how I can climb that wall.
Yep.
And if I am playing Tetris, like traffic lights will look like falling Tetris pieces or whatever, stuff like that. That's what happens to me.
Yeah, whatever. If there's a game that I've become engrossed in, that takes over the sort of subconscious temporarily. Yeah,
I think I mostly dream about programs, and it's just tied into what that day was like. Because more often than not, Tuesdays I'll have like dreams of waveforms because of the Bombcast and everything.
really.
Yeah.
That sounds chill. Are you like riding the waveforms, or are they just in front of you, just like they are on this computer screen?
It's just in front of me, stressing me out.
Yeah,
never mind.
It's like how Neo sees the Matrix.
That's exactly that. Yeah.
I've definitely had stress dreams about Monster Hunter, especially lately, because Sunbreak is coming out, and you need to be able to be at a certain like hunter rank in the hub stuff, which is multiplayer, which I haven't done a ton of. So I've been trying to like catch up, but I'm not going to get there in time. I know I'm not, and yeah, I'm stress dreams about that.
You'll get there when you get there, Jason.
Oh, jeez.
And last email of the show. Once again, I just want to iterate. We got a bunch of fun emails and quizzes. Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest just passed, and a thing that was around summer game conventions was booth babes. Janice from Modesto writes in with an update or an experience from a former booth babe. Hello, Bombcast. Thought I'd let you know about my recent conversation with a relative. My cousin, who is around 5 years older than I am, was a model in the LA area, mainly working live events, but was also on the cover of Import Tuner and other car magazines. We only recently began reconnecting after so long, and during this time, we discussed gaming, which brought up her time as a booth babe, where I learned her opinion on the matter. She thinks the death of booth babes sucks. A lot of women and men who were in the industry looked forward to E3 because it was usually the easiest of the summer events. Less rowdy drunk men, and mostly everyone was courteous. She claims ending the practice has likely taken away a lot of opportunities and paychecks to those working hard to make it in an already difficult industry. Junk food for thought. Hope you're all well. Janice from Modesto.
This is the kind of thing. There's always like unintended side effects when you like try to eliminate something. Like the little kid. Okay, this is not a one-to-one comparison. It's just the same idea. But like the little kids working in sweatshops are also using that money to like feed their families. And so when you stop using kids in sweatshops, it's like, well, that's great. We stop you, but like those kids got to find some other way to get money. Like that's like it's a terrible catch-22. So it's like, these things happen across the board and everything.
You heard it here. Grub's all for child labor. Yeah, I get it.
You said it.
All right. Wonderful. Yes. But it's like, this is more about the industry taking responsibility for itself and not worried about like, we got beep. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. On top of that, probably like the live production event, like the AV industry is kind of, I don't want to say collapsed, but definitely felt the effects of COVID, especially with how trade shows are changing. Because can you imagine if, I don't know, if Microsoft or Sony, or I guess Nintendo hasn't done like a live in-person thing in a long time, but like those folks would be out of a job if they're just doing all these pre-recorded bits from now on.
Well, that's been Nintendo's MO for a number of years. They've always had that weird thing on Sunday morning that was pre-recorded. So I don't know.
And that's like even after like the death of like booth babes at E3, like you go to Nintendo's booth and they were still definitely hiring like triple point like PR associates, which were just people who would like see a posting, show up and get trained for a day and then show you the game. Like there was still a lot of
chaining them to DSs or 3DSs.
And give me some sweet little booth boys.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, last email.
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
All right.
Sorry. Listen, it had to be said.
Had to. Did it have to be said?
I don't know anymore.
I'm glad it was.
All right. Last email of the show. Eric in Chicago writes, given the way Nintendo tends to make games, what would they do even with something like the power of a PlayStation 5 besides improving resolution, frame rate, and load times? Eric in Chicago. That's an interesting thought piece of like, what would Nintendo actually do if they had the power if they stopped Nintendo-ing and started Nintendo-doing, you know?
Yeah, like make a game where Mario makes you cry because he's just so beautiful looking.
Yeah.
He's just so perfect.
They've done so much with so less, like adapting to, the hardships of a particular platform, the Switch, but yet those first party games just look amazing. Could you imagine if they like harnessed the power of, something that, man,
Splatoon would look insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a tough answer. Like that, the answer to this question is like the true, threading of the needle. Like I don't know if there is an answer. I think that is very much their process is very much ingrained in their philosophy and their business model, right? So like
everything else looks exactly the same, but the hair of Mario's mustache is just excruciatingly realistic. It's like upsettingly realistic.
And he takes off his shirt, and those nipples are just like
nipples are realistic too. Yes, yeah.
Every whisker under that honker of his, rendered in excruciating detail.
You can feel the cow udders with the haptic feedback.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like make controllers that don't drift. I don't know. Like,
if they had extra money, maybe try that. Yeah,
that's definitely a thing.
That's fair.
It's definitely a problem.
Just give me,
Nintendo's just so broke right now. They can't afford to do that. That's the big thing.
I don't know. Give me an Ethernet port built into the dock from the get-go.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. All right.
It is. Right?
Well, I think that does it for emails. That does it for games. That does it for games news. And I feel good, y'all. I feel great. Yeah.
Real nice.
We talked about Mario's nipples. We talked about the news. We had feelings about video games. I think that's a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Milk and udders.
Out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shigeru milking, like
Shigeru milking.
Milkamoto.
Oh no,
Milkamoto.
Got him.
I'm gonna stop.
Write that one down.
I'm gonna stop there. Just like the show is gonna stop here. I've been Jan. He has been Jeff. He has also been Jeff. He's been Jason. Shouts out to Tam. Thanks for Tam dropping by at the top of the show. Thanks to Dan for popping into the show. Dan, don't do it again, please.
Let's thank him for that.
And thank you to the folks watching live at home. This has been the Giant Bombcast. Tune in next week for another episode, and tune in Thursday. Can we say this?
I think. Yeah, let's do it.
The inaugural episode of Grub. What is the legal proper name now?
I think we've had some run-ins with the lawyers. I think we're gonna go with Game Mess Mornings is what we're gonna go with. So tune in Thursday. We will have something. We're gonna put together a show in some form, and we'll see what art we have and everything else. But yeah, tune in. We'll make it happen.
We make
fought
it happen.
The law, and the law won.
Yeah, it turns out when you want to get messy, it's gonna get messy.
It turns out there's a radio program in like Santa Fe or something. Yeah,
Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arcade Pit happening tomorrow. There's a quick look for Super Mario Strikers, Sniper Elite 5, perhaps an unfinished of Passepartout 2 later this week. And we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. Oops. Wait. There we go.
Yeah.
Probably 11 a.m. Eastern. Probably.
Mics are still live.
Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Tamor Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff Bacalar. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek, and you can find him online with the handle @DaveSavedTheDay. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy. And thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.